used to keep him for 5 hours. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rookie Corner. And yeah, I know it's been a little while. I've had a little kerfuffle of a couple months-ish and just stumbling through with some videos and whatnot. But now I am back posting stuff, planning on doing this. I got a few guests with me. Other guests might roll in pretty soon at some point throughout the stream. But right now, we've got Midnight's Edge, After Dark, Tom Connors with us today. Introduce yourself, buddy.
How are you guys doing out there? Yes, I am Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark and Midnight's Edge. You can always catch us on the Midnight's Edge After Dark podcast nearly every day. We usually take like Tuesdays and 1 or 2 days on the weekends off, but otherwise we're pretty consistent.
Hell yeah, pretty much. I think you guys are the most consistent podcast other than Nerdrotic, I would say.
I don't know about that. He's pretty sketchy.
No, I take it back. Mecca is probably live twice a day, every day.
Oh gosh, yes, she does a lot more too. I'm at the mercy of Rob, so sometimes I have to kind of wait for him to be around, but not to like throw him under the bus or anything. It's just a matter of getting everybody's schedules together. And Mecca too, she also, like you said, is busy, so sometimes getting her can be waiting for her to be done with her stuff and all that kind of stuff. It can be fun, but no, we try to go generally about 7 or 8 o'clock Central Time, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh yeah, I know, man. I have noticed too, ever since starting to stream, how it's like very hard to schedule stuff sometimes with people, because it's like, okay, time zones and whatever you're doing, and then whatever they're doing, and if there's work or other streams or videos you're trying to get done or something, just always comes around. Speaking of under the bus, Rob, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
You're a little muffled, but yeah.
Okay, something's not right.
Did you get your new camera?
Yeah, Shlomo Vision's not quite ready to go on.
Shlomo Vision, you're using the audio from Shlomo Vision.
Yeah, well, let me.
That's what I'm doing too, but
son of a.
No, mine's a mic, so mine's set up right. So no, you're gonna have to go in your settings probably. Let's figure that all out.
That should be. How about that now? How's that?
Hey, there we go. We got him clear as day. How you doing, Rob?
Oh, fantastic. Are we on the air right now?
Yeah,
we are on the air. That's why I'm
just started.
Lovely.
No, I'm just kidding.
Lovely.
Just started. Well, since you rolled in, why don't you introduce yourself, Rob, to the Rookie Corner podcast? The audience. Good.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Robot Shlomo. You may know me as the voice / narrator supreme of Midnight's Edge, and
a little narrator voice.
Yes, I could do my Kevin Conroy. You may know me as the voice and narrator of Midnight's Edge, the narrator supreme.
Awesome.
So, yes. So.
Sounds pretty similar to the regular trailers, guys. Nice.
Yeah. In a world with one man. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, anyway,
read people's chats like you would like one of our videos. That's what I was
read the chats like I would one of my videos.
Yeah, like serious, like
one summer. I don't know. Yeah, but then so then we also got Mary Mayhem.
Rob, shit. Hold on.
Mini dog voice.
Well, all right. Well, now, first of all, it's we got to introduce the lady first. All right. So women rule. So
and a lot of lady.
Yeah, a lot of lady. Yeah, but she's on here often. But introduce yourself anyway, Mary.
Well, hi guys. I am Mary B, the bringer of mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. Hi, how are we doing today?
It is a awesome day. I'm the only one, I think, in the Pacific, so I have some sunshine left, some daytime hours. You guys are in the evening, I assume, for the most part. But
yeah, it's like 5, 6 for Rob.
Yeah, it's like 6 here. Yeah,
it's a little after 6.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Anyway, so today, there's no particular topics. I mean, I just went over before that we might talk about some. Just talk about your channel a little bit, just so people can get more familiar just from this area. If we have any Brie Larson stuff we want to get out of our systems, then we can. Same with Star Wars Episode 9, any of that stuff. And then since Mary and I are noobs to the movie Alien, we just both recently saw it. We got some things we could talk about with it if you guys want to, if you're up for it. What do you think?
I'm down.
Whatever.
Oh heck no, just kidding.
Okay. Well, before I ask you guys about your channel, I'm going to address the chat real quick. We got Miss in the chat. She is awesome. She says, as Rookie Corner, as his usual corner once again. How exciting! Thank you.
Yeah.
The Lone Wolf Cub. I'll have the Lone Wolf Cub join us in a little bit. I just kind of like to start out a little small, and then I'll invite him on. He's really wanted to, talk to you guys. He's probably one of the best viewers in the community. He watches.
I think he was on one time when I was here before.
I think he was either on here or he was in the chat when you're on my birthday stream a couple months back. Yeah, we're talking about it. Yeah, he watches everybody's videos and will comment. He watches everything, and he makes his own videos too. I think he's almost to 300 subscribers, so he's getting up there. I like that. And then we got Joe K470. Midnight Sedge will be joining Rookie. Oh, hell yeah, buddy. And Teresa Martin's here. What's up?
You got to do is ask.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people act like approaching bigger channels is like you got them. I'm like, yeah, these are regular dudes. I was on with Jeremy back when I had like 300 subscribers. Like, from Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, I know. I recognize Miss from I believe Creepy Little Book. Am I right? Am I correct in saying that?
She's in his chat, yeah. She hangs out in his chat quite a bit, and she's actually on my channel quite a bit as well.
She's pretty much attached. She's pretty much attached to Mary. And then we got
my favorite little sister.
Yeah, we got Tito George in the chat. He says, "Yes, you're online." Yes,
Tito.
Tito. Yep, he's popular around. I assume it's the first time I've seen him pop into mine. So. That's good. Hope you have fun, buddy.
How could you not like Tito Jackson? I mean, the forgotten Jackson brother.
Who? I'm 25, and Jacksons were only briefly in my time because my dad really loved them. So
I bought a Michael Jackson shirt today. I'm not even kidding.
I bet. Michael Jackson, as a singer, or Michael Jackson in his older life.
I think it's like bad era, so he's kind of in the middle.
That's funny. But okay, so since I think some people are starting to roll in a little bit, Midnight's Edge. You can, either one of you can start. Tell us a little bit about your channel. Like, when did you start? What's it about?
Go ahead, Rob. A little bit, but
Andre started the channel first, and he was working with another guy named Kevin at the time. I'm blanking on his last name, but. Andre was he was doing the channel, and I saw some of his mini documentaries. This was even before actually I joined up with him. I was watching some of the mini documentaries. So I was leaving some comments on them, and I had my own channel. Actually, I still have my own channel called Robot Shlomo. I'm the only Robot Shlomo on YouTube and on Twitter, which makes it easy to find. So, but I was under the name. I've been using the name Robot Shlomo for quite a while, actually, since about 2009, when I was on another podcast called Reality Wasted. So I was watching some mini documentaries and commenting on videos and really thinking not much more about it. Hey, this is a channel I kind of like, and that was it. And then Andre messages me, how would you like to be on a podcast? I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I'll do anything once, twice if I like it. And then what the heck's what's going on there, Tom? Jeez, what do you got? Oh my god. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought we saw something we almost weren't allowed to see.
Their old face.
Okay, so anyway, so I was doing at the time it was right around when Marvel announced Phase 3, so I did a couple primer videos for Black Panther, for Ms. Marvel. I still call her Ms. Marvel, for Captain Marvel, when I actually thought the movie was going to be good, for Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. And so Andre saw the one for Inhumans, and he liked that. So he thought, oh, I got to work with this guy. And so he asked me to be on, and we actually recorded a podcast about Westerns, about the decline of the American Western, which actually has been filed away as a lost episode, actually. And
I think it's on the Patreon, though.
Yeah. It actually was pretty. Yeah, I kind of liked it. But anyway, so I started narrating some mini documentaries, and things kind of took off from there. And then Tom came on
in your normal voice or in your trailer voice.
No, he's got the Rob. I call it the conspiracy voice.
This is sort of my normal voice. This is the same voice I use.
That's his normal voice. But
This is the
let's
voice.
say earlier. Go start reading people's chats in your
Hold
Rob,
on.
your Rob mini
Oh,
documentary.
okay, hold on.
Something. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Proper Jenny, Mary, Tito, Joe, Teresa. The Rookie Critic. Hey, Proper. Proper Jenny. Hello, Tom. Miss. Well, screw you too. Proper. LOL. Mary. LOL. Tito. Jorge. LOL. Proper Jenny. Hello there, Miss. Proper Jenny. Smiley face. Miss. Thank
That's
you.
a little bit more dramatic.
It sounds like there's about to be an action adventure about to start any minute now.
That's close, but no, he'll do like I always
Wait, hold on.
watching like the History Channel or something when he does the mini documentaries. I love it.
Yeah. Mary Mayhem. I want Rob to read this. Mary Mayhem. LOL. Proper Jenny. I'm getting called out on the stream. Oh dear. So, yeah.
But
Yeah, do your I can read this. But I'm getting called out on the stream. Oh dear. You know.
so yeah, they started doing their thing, and around Spider-Man time, I got brought on with another guy who didn't work out, and since then I've been with the channel now for over 2 years, and Rob, I've been bugging the piss out of him for just as long.
Well, it's
I'm
Yeah,
really
that's
like
interesting.
the secretary, the editor, the
no. Tom, you do a majority of the heavy lifting. You do a lot of the heavy lifting. So does Andre.
I wouldn't know if I'd call myself like a junior VP, because like Rob and I both have pretty much the same amount of say in anything as far as that goes. But I mean, yeah, I don't really say I'm for the heavy lifting part, but I do a lot of the editing and coordinating and dealing with sleepless nights. But Andre does a lot of work too. Don't get us wrong. Rob does a hell of a lot more work than he probably lets on. He's our best writer. Andre and I have said that a few times. We don't know. We don't want to give him a big head, but we can't believe he's not writing for like a real rag or something like that. And I mean like a true newspaper, not.
Yeah.
Well, this is more fun.
Actually, you might have read some of my other work in Penthouse Confidential. I couldn't believe it. I never thought I'd be writing you this letter, but I swear every part of this story is true. That's some of my other work.
You?
Shh, we're not supposed to talk about that, Tom.
Okay, now we've hijacked the rookie show. It's time for Mary to tell a little bit about herself now. That
No, we already know enough about Mary. She's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, they know.
and then along comes Mary.
Yeah, she's a regular over here for the most part. Our circles are almost intertwined, so.
Yeah, well, almost. I would say they're
That's almost
completely.
good segue. Mary's karaoke nights too.
Yeah, see, I would have been able to join sometimes, but I've been working evenings, but now they have me opening on the weekends, and now they keep on changing it up, and I have this whole week off now, randomly. Like, it's no consistency at all, so that's why I'm able to have today free. So I was like, oh, sweet. So you actually get in here.
We'll take it, man.
Hell yeah. So do you guys, I am curious, though. So you guys have been doing Midnight's Edge for how long would you say?
Well, the channel's been around for what, almost 4 years now, Rob? Give or take.
It's been 4 years, but I think I've been doing it for about maybe 2.5, maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, it's literally like the other day was like my anniversary for 2 years. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the day that Andre called me and all that kind of crap, but it was just like, holy, it was out of crazy because, like Rob said, I watched, Midnight's Edge all the time, and then all of a sudden I got Andre calling me on the phone, and I'm hearing his voice, the voice you hear in the videos. And he's like, Tom, how would you like to be a part of Midnight's Edge? And I'm like, would I?
Gee, Mr. Thanks.
Yeah, gee, Mr. Thanks. No, I literally almost dropped the phone. I didn't even know what that. I mean, I kind of had an idea of what he might be calling for, but it was just like, wow, I thought maybe it was just going to be to ask me to be on a video or something, or help him out with something. I didn't expect it to be part of the team.
Well, that was awesome, man. You're a partner now. You're with it. You and Rob are pretty much the faces. I would say, like people are more familiar with.
As far as After Dark, yeah, but I still say Rob and Andre are the stars. I'm kind of like the guy in the background.
That's okay. But so do you guys and Andre, like the rest of the team, what do you guys have planned for the future? Do you have where do you guys see yourselves as the channel in a couple of years from now?
Well, we like to just keep building and building. we're very proud of all of our investigative reporting that we have done so far, and we hope to do a lot more of that, of course.
Yeah. Well, I have a big. I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
No, finish.
I have big plans for Midnight's Edge the musical. So it's going to be starting on Broadway. We're going to do. Yes, it's going to be the biggest thing since The King and I, and or possibly Cannibalism the musical that Matt and Trey wrote.
He wanted to do D minor, but I said that's too sad.
As long as Mary and Mecca can play as you two. Yeah.
Oh,
So we're gonna gender swap it.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
that's what they do with everything these days. Why not? I could totally be Rob with boobs.
That'd be fucking
Yep.
awesome.
Be a lot nicer to look at. Jeez.
Hell yeah. And anyway, yeah. So
That'd be funny.
we always got more mini documentaries coming up. I literally have no less than like 5 or 6 interviews in the can right now that we're trying to get on that are like bottlenecked. So it's insane.
Oh, nice. Well, those are good problems to have, I would say.
Well, it's more so like things come up. Like
Right.
right in the middle of something else, all of a sudden the Ghostbusters news will drop about the new Ghostbusters movie, for instance. That was one that just threw everything in a tizzy. And we had like 2 or 3 videos that never got done because of that, and some that are still on the back burner. I don't know if Rob wants to elaborate on that at all, but yeah.
No.
No, because he just records the shit. He's moved on.
No, that's all good. But no, what's funny is that like I thought I could have sworn that you guys were at like 60,000 subscribers, and then it's like when I looked, it said like 13K, and I'm like, that can't be right. Is this the right channel?
Well, no, that's the After Dark channel.
Yeah.
For some reason, After Dark just I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm or if it's just me and Rob. We don't rub.
No, it's us. It's us. Yeah,
I know.
We're
Trying
yeah.
to be nice to you.
I was saying because you guys have good guests on, some different topics. Yeah, get good shtick
I don't know.
and stuff.
I don't know. I really don't. I couldn't tell you. I thought we'd truck right along with Mecca and Doomcock and Nerdrotic. I knew was going to take off. I've been telling Gary that Nerdrotic was going to take off for a long time. And as far as the main channel, though, the main channel's doing wonderful. So we keep, we take the good with the bad, I guess.
Well, there's kind of a disconnect. I think a lot of people don't know about the After Dark channel, and there's a lot of, and you know what, we make no bones about it that After Dark, it's more laid back. It's we kind of have fun, we goof around. You frequently you can hear me, start off the show. I'm the Minutes Edge After Dark WNBC. Do my Don Imus impression, or whatever. But and some people don't respond to that. But they say, oh well, you guys are lowering the standards for Midnight's Edge. I'm like, well, first of all, shame on you for thinking I have standards. And,
Right.
And secondly, I'm like, we tell you up front, it's more laid back. I mean, if you like the serious news oriented stuff, Midnight's Edge is where you get that. And like I said, the
After
more
Dark
laid
is
back.
like bullpen.
Yeah,
I don't know
After
if anybody
Dark.
out there familiar with how a newspaper works or a radio station works. But in your newsroom, you have what's called a bullpen, and that's where everybody just kind of lounges around and acts like themselves, and you don't have to worry about anything. And that's kind of the attitude we go into After Dark with. Sorry, Rob, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Andre said it's like a kitchen party, and well, we call it like in America we said it's the after party. And we got the name from Playboy After Dark, which is sort of like the after party back in the 60s and 70s. It was syndicated at the late nights, and you would see. Hugh Hefner would introduce a good evening. Tonight we have Sammy Davis Jr. It'll be performing for us, and we'll have Playmate of the Month, Brandy Benton. It's like that kind of stuff. It's sort of like, so it's supposed to be laid back.
You put your hands on me, son. No. This is the kind of crap we do on After Dark.
Yeah, man. That Hugh Hefner cat, man. He's like hip, man. He's with it,
Wait, see, that's a good shtick. I'm just surprised, people haven't caught on to that. But I'm hoping that you guys, by the end of this year, will, catch on.
I think part of it is for every one thing that lands, we have like 12 things that don't.
I think you need to make it. You guys need to make a good 5-minute Brie Larson video, and then just watch the sub count rise.
Well, don't say Brie Larson around me, because then I'll turn into her.
Well, it's funny because I literally just made a video that is just like saying how making Brie Larson videos gets people subscribers, and then I have like 1,000 views on it, and I gained 30 subscribers.
Oh my God, you're using me to get video subscribers.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to address the chat real quick, and then we can move on to another topic. We got, Miss. I just made Miss and Mary mods on here. I could have sworn I made you a mod before, but I guess I didn't.
Oh,
She's got a wrench now.
it's got
Yeah.
two girls in one. Double the pleasure, to double the fun. Now you know the pursuit. Now you owe the pursuit of happiness the 3 cents royalties now. So
That's fine. I can pay that. I'm good.
Now you just got to duck if you piss her off, Rob, because she's got a wrench to throw at you.
I
Right?
know. My father was a mechanic. He threw plenty of wrenches at me. You kidding me? I got a lot of practice.
What's wrong with you, boy?
That's awesome. Black Angus Reviews says, "Hail Rook, we'll be live with Drunk 3PO, and then Mary just saying hi, colonizers. I mean white people. Not lying. Truth.
If I could make myself any other ethnicity, I would, just for you guys. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Because honestly, I don't want to like take it off rails, but one of the reasons why I think I had such a hard time breaking anywhere into the industry is because I'm so white.
Oh, really?
It's possible. I mean, based on
kind of true.
based on everything, that you don't fit the requirements. You're not,
Yeah. Well, you see, I don't see color. People tell me I'm white, and I just have to take their word for it. So that's.
Well, Rob's even tried to pitch shows and has had no luck.
Yeah, I pitched a sitcom to NBC. Actually, a while back. Yeah, it's based on I had such a Mrs. because girls throat suck. Oh, okay. No. I'm reading that. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the chat.
According to stereotypes.
And then after that, his brain went elsewhere.
Giggity. But
it's not in a bad way, guys. So
it was part of NBC's digital playground thing. They were going to give you a 6-episode deal to produce a series on their network website, and you were going to get potentially get a pilot. So the show I pitched was called FU. It was about a guy who went to a fictional university called Fairmont University. Now, why I chose the name Fairmont University is because there's a street where I live called Fairmont Avenue. And on Fairmont Avenue is been there for years, is an adult movie theater. And nobody seems to care. And so I went to a horrible state university. And I said, what is the best way I can insult them on a regular basis? Well, just to name it after a porno theater. Fairmont University. So, and this way, like I said, and when I was there, the school had no money. The paint was peeling off the walls. The tiles were all ripped up on the floors in the classrooms. The bookstore would run out of books. It was just
streetwalking a major.
Yeah, with Pimpology 101. I took my freshman year.
Pimpology 101 or Streetwalking 202.
And then so in my script, in the pilot I pitched, it's the guy, a character named Rob. I had to really stretch for that name. But it's actually based on my friend Jake. So
sure.
Yeah. But he applies to a bunch of colleges. And what happens is not really. He's a smart guy. He's smart, but he's sharp. But he's not Ivy League smart. So he applies like SUNY Purchase, UMass, those kind of places. And so he gets turned down, and then he gets an acceptance letter from Fairmont University, and he doesn't remember applying there. So what happens is, to make a long story slightly longer, because that's what you do when you say that. His parents rewrote all his essays and sabotaged all his applications except for Fairmont U, because they have money tied up in something called the State University Cost Keeping System. SUCKS sucks. So, and so as he's going there, his first week there is miserable, and then the school has its accreditation called into question, and so he's stuck. He can't go anywhere, and so I'm like, I had to come up with a reason for him to stay there, so he couldn't transfer, and that was it. And so the series kind of takes off from there. So, but it got turned down. I described it as sort of a surreal, sort of like Community, but with a lead that is younger, much younger. So, and like Dr. Cox, like Scrubs, like Dr. Cox, the college years, I almost describe it as. So, there was actually an incident that, which is actually did happen to me, that the kid at the financial aid office kept pushing the application, the student loan application back across the counter for me. No. This isn't for you. I'm like, yeah, it says undergraduate, graduate. No, but this isn't for you. I said, you take it, you take this application here, walk your ass over to the file and put it in there, and let's see what happens. And then it culminated with me screaming to get his head out of his ass. And this is in full view of maybe 20 people. And I just remember when I did that, everybody in the place froze.
You're fired.
Yeah, like they froze. Don't make eye contact with them.
This scenario alone sounds awesome to see.
Yeah. So that's, so like I said, and the stuff they actually accepted was terrible. So nothing went to series, as far as I know. But I still have the idea. So
have you and Tom actually like worked in any way in the industry other than like coming close, or like have you been on anything?
No, the closest thing I've come to working in the industry is winning tickets on on like a radio show. That's about it.
Okay.
Calling into WFAN. That's the closest I've come to working in the industry. Tom, what about you?
Well, I've been on radio. I have worked on some independent movies that didn't go nowhere. Didn't get finished.
Like what?
One was called Full Circle, and it was this really pretentious idea that me and a few other guys had, and it would have been one of the first ever digitally filmed movies. It was around the same time. It actually would have been before like Attack of the Clones and stuff.
Oh wow! Is it on YouTube available anywhere to watch?
Yeah, I have a half. It's only like two-thirds of a movie's done. Because we lost like half of our cast, as usually happens in a lot of independent features. But the basic idea, real quick, was that there was like 4 or 5 characters. I can't remember how many offhand, but each character was assigned an individual color. So this unique idea we thought we had that was just going to blow everybody away. All we did was made the movie black and white. And then whenever an individual character's section was on screen, it would be in a color, whether it was red or blue or whatever. But then when those characters would cross over, the colors would cross. So you'd have like green when yellow would cross over with, blue or whatever. Yeah, it was just kind of this big pretentious thing we had. And none of the stories were really anything that were that interesting outside of one that we tried to make another movie off of those characters, and that didn't work out either. Otherwise, we tried doing a horror movie that didn't work out. That we literally got like two nights of shooting done, and everything just kind of fell apart. Otherwise, we worked on a few things that I'm still kind of trying to get off the ground, so I don't know if I should talk too much about them, but because there are things that I'm kind of working on right now that I don't want to talk too much about because I don't want to jinx them.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I'm technically kind of still on the cusp of, but it's more so in the creative writing and like creating shows kind of thing. And I do have a connection. My writing partner actually works in the video game industry, so I don't know if I'm going to get into that or not, because that might require me moving out of the country altogether. So I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so there's always stuff like that cooking for me. But Midnight's Edge is just kind of like one of those things where it was like the channel that I created before I got to be a part of Midnight's Edge was basically a result of channels like Midnight's Edge. So it was kind of what I wanted to do anyway, especially being a single father, and in the situation I was in, I didn't have a lot of choices. So it was kind of something that worked out for me at this time. But my kid's getting older now, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll move on from Midnight's Edge anytime soon, necessarily, though. As far as that goes, so.
Okay, Tom, you could move. You could move away.
That's the best part. Is even if
I'll just stay here. I'll just have Mary keep me company.
What if I told you?
Lovely.
What if I told you I was going to move to the place that Doomcock said that I could have?
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
That's the ironic part. No, I don't know if I'm going to actually move there, but maybe a project might take me there for a while, but that doesn't mean it'll get too much in the way of Midnight's Edge, even if I do, because I can do that all over the internet. That's how we,
Right, makes sense. Well, yeah, I was
everything now because
I
none of
was-
us are in the same area. So
I was interested in the actual film industry part because that's actually what I'm trying to work towards.
right, that's difficult.
I'm in college, just getting my regular general ed stuff because I'm in the Northwest and there's literally no schools around here for me to go to for film. And people said, well, you don't have to go to school for film. So that's how I started my YouTube channel, was just picking up a camera and starting to try to film things and try to teach myself and learn now, which is like how I had that skit that I had you guys be a part of too, with the whole rookies test thing. And so I try to film like myself and other characters, and now I'm trying to get other people involved too, like as far as on YouTube and collaborations, and even if they film something, try to splice it with mine so it looks like we're in the same room or something. So learning the area. Yeah, at some point once I get a car, I'll go to Portland, and there's probably some better jobs in there for film related stuff, and see what I can do.
The only tips I can give you is you've got the wrong thing between your legs.
Oh,
Wrong color,
wrong shade of skin, and wrong genitalia.
No, just kidding. Basically, at this point, I wish there was a YouTube when I was doing it, because that would have changed the game for us back then. Compared, this was like almost 20 years ago now. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, it was like 2000, 2001 era. So it was like there was no YouTube. We were trying to start our own. We had our own webpage for a little while, but I don't know if 6 people in the world saw it. You know what I mean? Because there was no way of really promoting yourself. There wasn't even MySpace, I don't think, yet.
If you post those old ones now, I bet you we'd watch it.
I do have them. There is one of my short film, or 2 of my short films that I'm involved in that are on the internet somewheres. And there's other things that I've worked on since that are on the same channel. It's actually not too hard to find.
Okay.
I'm almost Tom talk about film in a second. I actually was in a film.
Yeah, he was.
Quickly. I was in a film, small independent production. You could see it on YouTube, called Burial Boys. I play a heckler. I play a heckler in a comedy club, which is very which is very relevant for me. So you can check that out.
Boys with a Z.
I was gonna say you've quite the extensive repertoire of heckling.
Yes.
Heckling is like your main job, essentially.
We're like Waldorf and Statler.
No, you want to know how that story really went down? He doesn't want anybody to know this, but he was asked to play the comedian, but he's like, I'm not going to play the comedian. You got this guy in the audience heckling him. Fine, you can play the heckler. All right, then. Am I right, Rob?
Sure.
No,
Yeah. That's okay. Well, we monopolized. Yeah, we monopolized enough time, so let's. Yeah,
that's all good. That's all good. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm glad that we actually talked about that for a bit.
The hardest thing about doing what we do, and as far as getting into the business, is some of the people I've talked to, it takes everything I got not to go, you know what, I got this idea that I'm sure you would love, because I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, no, I've actually come to terms with that a while ago too, because all I would do is write, and I just have all these ideas, but then it's like, nobody really wants to hear all them right now. They want you to do for them, show your other skills, and then maybe if you're build up some credibility, then they might listen, maybe. So.
Right. Yeah. Because I've had people that are close to me turn around and reach out to people that I've talked to that are celebrities, and then they will quit talking to me. So I have a feeling that may have been one of the reasons why. So it's like, it's one of those things you got to kind of draw a fine line, but you're doing what you got to do. And that is just keep doing what you're doing. Get them up on YouTube. The more people see it, the more credibility you get, the more name recognition you'll get out there. And as far as technical wise, sound is key. You always want to have really good sound. The best you can do with kind of like boom mics or any kind of way you can do it, the best way you can do it, the sound will always make your picture look 10 times better.
Yep. Yeah. At some point when I move into a location, I'll have a room that'll have good sound too.
Well, it's not even just the room, but just to be able to, even if you can get like those little electronic mics that you can clip on, that you can hide on your clothing, those work really good, just so you can get a good, clean audio from everybody that's acting. And then otherwise, as far as editing and framing and doing all that stuff, my suggestion would be find scenes you like. like, okay, I want to make my scene look like this scene in a movie. Kind of just study each and every shot that it takes to create that scene. Because I'll tell you, close-ups and inserts are your best friends when you're editing.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. But as far as around my area, there's nobody that is into film really. So I've always been the only one doing it. Like just with my camera by myself, filming me. The Rookie's Test was all me. Like that whole skit, me fighting all the other characters was all me. Just setting up the camera, editing it, doing the stuff, like all that. So far, that's the only way I can learn. But I was thinking, like at some point, once I get a little more flow in my bank, like if I could hire a camera person, like on eBay or some shit, like not eBay, but on a Craigslist or something, like, hey, I'll pay $100 to hold my camera for me today for a while.
Or even if you can't do that, considering cameras are so cheap now and so are tripods and all that stuff, just set yourself up with 2 or 3 different cameras in different locations that you want the shots from. And right there, you get it all in one take.
That's true, but without, but, I mean, some shots can be better with the movie camera is what.
Oh yeah. Well, like if you want to try and do as best you can with all 3 cameras or whatever setup you have.
Right. True.
But I wish we were doing what we were doing back then now, because just the access we could have had to so many HD cameras and GoPro this and the sound now, and compared to what we had to deal with. We're sitting here trying to edit on a computer and you have to wait for something to load up or render. Oh my God, it was just horrendous.
Oh yeah, just doing my tomato videos. Though at first it was fine, but the more files you have, the slower the program works. And,
right,
and
like I said, go take yourself back 20 years.
Yeah, in a way, I admire you for that, because it's like having to deal with the crappier technology is way harder than before.
You have to leave the shit overnight. That's how long it would. You're talking 24 to 48 hours sometimes to render something or more, and that's just like routine.
Yeah, 3 words: Windows Movie Maker.
You scroll a page, go to the bathroom, take a shower, and then the window's loaded, and then you click on something, go do your laundry. It's the whole deal, right? That's funny. That's good. That's good. Well, people are starting to roll in here, and Mary can only be here for a little longer, so I'm gonna.
You're here. We're talking all over you.
I'm still here.
She's here. We disrespecting the women.
Oh, you're here.
I like listening to you guys.
Yep. But so since she's only gonna be here for a little bit, I figure. So she and I saw Alien recently, and not together, but we were both first time. Yeah, first time seeing it, and it's like hailed as one of the best like films ever. And how do you guys like Alien? Just saying for Tom and Rob.
Funny enough you asked, because hopefully by the 26th, which is Alien Day, we're going to have our next episode of Talking Horror up, which is going to be Mr. H and Andre and I talk about the entire Alien franchise from beginning to end in the future. So that's coming up, and in that I basically say, depending on my mood or the day, either Alien or Aliens is my favorite of the franchise. So it just depends. Alien itself, though, is a very dark, moody slasher film in space. And I'm curious to hear what you guys think 40 years after it came out, because it's 40 years old this year, and a movie that, to me, I think personally still stands up. But I've been watching it now for 20 plus odd years. So, what did you guys think? Or Rob, before we go on to them, sorry, what did you think of Alien?
I barely remember watching Alien. I do love Aliens, though.
I could have figured you were more of an Aliens guy.
Yeah. Good, great. Aliens is a great movie. Like I said, I barely remember Aliens, so I can't really comment. It's been years since I've seen it, so. But just the idea I love of being a horror movie set in space. A horror movie is so scary, but a horror movie set in space it just amps up everything like 100-fold, because all the things that can go wrong on the ground become even more horrible.
Right, you can't just run outside or.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, makes sense. I like those. Before I go, I feel like Mary, why don't you give your opinion on Alien?
So for context purposes, just so that people understand at least to some extent where I'm coming from on this, I was a very, very sheltered young woman, okay? I was homeschooled. The only place I went was church, and horror movies were off the table. Not something I watched. I was not even exposed to pop culture, with the exception of like, it wasn't even really pop culture at the time when I was a kid, like things like Star Wars, my dad would let me see. I watched Star Trek when I was younger. I did do comics a bit to some extent, but horror was explicitly off the table. My mother did not let it happen. I wasn't even allowed to watch Goosebumps. Okay. So this was not something that I have had a lot of exposure to. I don't do horror. So I watched this movie over on Lee's channel. He essentially bribed me via donating to Mecca's GoFundMe, which, by the way, you guys should do in the chat. So I went on and I watched this movie, and it's essentially just me screaming the entire time, just screaming my head off. There is do what?
Was this the one that made you puke that you were talking about, or almost puke, or whatever?
No, I almost puked because that thing came out of his stomach, and it was disgusting. There was blood, and you got visceral everywhere, and I'm just screaming. I didn't really realize. I guess I knew it was a horror movie, but I didn't realize how much disgusting stuff there was going to be in it. And I wasn't emotionally or mentally prepared for what went down in this film. Plus, everybody dies. Everybody dies in this thing, right? So I'm just screaming my head off. Do it.
I said spoilers.
Sorry. Yeah, at this point, if you don't know, shame on you. Which I guess is shame on me, really, because I just...
we just saw it. So
Kitty and Ripley live.
40 years later, I think that's enough time to have spoiler talk about anything from 40 years ago.
I know, I was joking.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, like, honestly, I did like Ripley. I liked her quite a bit. I felt that she was, everybody talks about empowered women these days, right? Like, she was legitimately empowered. She felt very real to me, and I was genuinely concerned for her well-being, especially after, like, everybody dies all the time. And face hugger, oh my god, the face hugger. Hugs will never be the same. It was the most horrifying. Hugs are supposed to be nice.
Hugs are nice.
It's not a nice hug. This thing attached and impregnated his belly, and it flies out, and it's just he goes off running, the creepy little thing. It was horrible.
I actually kind of laughed when that scene happened. I was like, I don't know. I've seen Spaceballs before this, by the way, so I got the gist.
Hello, honey. Hello, Murray.
Yeah, so when it just scurries away, I was like, that's kind of funny. So
I didn't make the connection. Like, at the time, like, I understood. Now I know that's what Spaceballs was talking about. But at the time, I just thought it was the frog. They were making a reference to the frog, and I didn't understand why it looked so weird. So, you know what I'm talking about? The frog and Bugs Bunny.
Yes. Well, yeah, they are, but they're also, yeah.
So, yeah, it was one of those, I don't enjoy it, not at all, not in the slightest, but that's because I don't enjoy gore and I don't enjoy horror, because if I don't have someone there to literally bury myself into as these things go down, and they went down constantly in this movie, then I don't want to do it because there's nowhere for me to run.
So it still works after 40 years, in other words.
I guess it did what it wanted to do. So I suppose you could say it held up, but I still didn't enjoy it. I was horrified and traumatized.
At this point, I guess that's irrelevant when it comes to the question, because if either you enjoy it or it scares the hell out of you, that's the point. You know, I guess
you like it. Like, did you?
Kind of like Jaws. Either you love the shit out of it or it scared the hell out of you. Either way, it worked. You know, otherwise.
Just saw Jaws recently as well, and that was nowhere near as horrible as this was. It was so horrible. Right.
Well, you also have to remember, at the time Jaws came out, there had never been a movie that surreal, I guess is the word. Is that the word I'm looking for, Rob? Or
no.
And that came out before Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't really, like, I'm not trying to say it was realistic in a sense, but the characters were treated realistically. The monster was treated realistically. It wasn't like your 50s, 60s sci-fi. It
wasn't the swamp thing going or
even just water beast kind of movies you used to have, you know. it was something different. It was taken seriously, and I mean, Steven Spielberg directed it like it was a pirate movie, basically, almost an adventure movie in a way. But you know, it was a different time period where some people had not seen anything like that. When Alien came out, that was completely different. It was a mainstream slasher movie, basically set in space. I mean, to that point, horror movies were the taboo. Like, other than Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they really didn't get any notoriety. They were just considered, you know, just above porno, or probably below in some markets.
That sounds accurate.
I will say I enjoyed Ripley. I thought that she was capable. I thought that she was smart. I enjoyed her character immensely. And I knew she was the star of it, so maybe it spoiled it for me to some extent in that aspect of it. Like, I knew that she was going to be the person that wound up being the hero of this. But from the first part of it, you couldn't tell that at all. You know, you couldn't really tell that she was where the focus was going to wind up. So I thought that was cool. I liked the way that they did that with her. Like, it was a great way to subvert your expectations in a way, because, you know, you don't see a lot of it coming. So I won't say I enjoyed the movie, because I did not enjoy the movie. And in fact, I emphatically disliked the movie I cannot express to you how much I did not enjoy watching this. But I also will say that I feel like if the goal was to terrify me and give me nightmares and induce me to the brink of vomiting, then good job. You did your job well, and congratulations.
Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at your misfortune. I think it's
I get it. Everyone's laughing at me. Lee is trying to figure out some way to get me.
We're just.
It's just, to me, it's really cool that a movie like this could affect somebody that much this many years later.
Yeah, well,
and I bet you $5 if we went and showed you the latest Alien movie, you'd just be like bored halfway through.
I don't know. It doesn't. Well, to be fair, though, it does not take much to make me uncomfortable. But that was the brink of not the brink of. I was completely nauseous
because it was well crafted. You had Ridley Scott at the top of his game. You had a tightly written script. You had really solid characters and actors to go with them. The effects didn't exactly work the way they wanted them to, but that's the Jaws effect. You didn't get to see as much as you think you did in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, the bloodiest scene in that movie is the scene with the chest burster. After that, there really isn't a lot of blood. Most of it's off camera or, you know, off scene. I mean, I think there's maybe one other scene where somebody gets hit with the thing that shoots out of its mouth. I can't remember how you call it.
The tongue thing, the black eye they don't actually show.
They don't really still show that much. Not in the first.
It
takes a lot of cues from Halloween. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that alien is so frightening. I don't know who came up with that design, but that thing is so incredibly frightening. It's nightmare inducing.
That would be H.R. Geiger.
It's absolutely torturous. I seriously went to bed very, very, very uneasy that night, like really worried I was going to have nightmares about it. And
well, he was famous for his art. Like, his art was very Bionicle meets what's the word I'm looking for?
Bionic versus body horror.
Yeah, it's kind of a body horror art, but it's also very sexual in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of that in there.
What I hear, the face grabbing and injecting the thing and the eggs. And all
yeah,
that,
face, let's face it. Yeah. Look at the face grabber.
Oh, Mary's in flashbacks.
It's basically two hands with a penis, honestly.
all together miserable.
Poor Mary. Oh,
you guys are gonna hate what I have to say about them.
Yeah, a lot of that was done on purpose. So there's a lot of that in there on purpose to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, it worked. You did a great job. Congratulations. They made me watch Aliens, the second one after it as well. It wasn't nearly as bad. I actually enjoyed that one far more.
See, that's a different kind of movie. And I compare those movies. They're two really great movies. And like I said, on any given day, you can ask me which one's my favorite, and I'll say either or. But they're also two very different movies. Because the first film is straight up a slasher film. The second film is an action adventure, like military type movie, more so.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You guys are gonna hate what I have to say about Alien.
No, you're curious to hear what you have to say. Yes.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give Mary her time because she's got to head out pretty soon in a little bit. So, if you had more to add, Mary, go ahead.
No. I would be happy to like engage you on this. I've got like probably another.
All right.
Does it change your mind at all, or make you feel any different knowing that all the characters were written to be either male or female interchangeable, and Ripley just happened to be picked as a female?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah, I'm asking you as a woman. Yeah.
Honestly, they all felt so natural. I didn't know that they were written to be interchangeable, but I can say it certainly felt that way. It felt like you could have done whatever you needed to do to, I mean, it would have made any difference. And I actually quite enjoy that because it focuses more on the character themselves as opposed to some trivial side factor of their gender, right? So I think I didn't know that was a fact, but I totally see it.
That's cool. I just wondered if that would affect you'd be like, oh no, that pisses me off, or you went the other way though. You thought it was kind of cool. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
I just think less concerned with a character's gender and more concerned with the character themselves. So
yeah, makes sense. All right. Now time for me to chat. I know you'll probably dislike the video now. The thing. All right. So preference before I watched it. First Alien thing at all that I've ever watched was Alien versus Predator.
I'm sorry.
A lot of people don't think that's a good introduction, but the point being, like, I've already seen the I was introduced to the face huggers there, the alien creatures. I love the design of xenomorphs. The concept and premise is creepy, freaky. That's cool. I love sci-fi stuff. I love alien things, space and whatnot. So that's a good concept, good thing to have. But I'm also not really a huge horror fan. It just doesn't really grab me personally. Like watching, Jason or Freddy Krueger and stuff. Like Freddy Krueger, I'll admit, those ones, the idea of that is pretty creepy. But the other stuff, I just can't really enjoy watching. I'm just like, I don't really care if they get killed. I don't care what's happening. So there's that. But anyway, so with Alien, I'm watching the first 10 minutes and I'm bored out of my mind because they just kind of show the ship for a while and then they're just kind of milling around on the ship and eating breakfast and just chilling. And then they go to the planet and that takes forever. And they're just kind of, it's like 20 minutes in. And then I think that's when you finally get on the planet and you start seeing the stuff on the planet a little bit. And then they just kind of have the face on him. And I'm like, okay, it's all right. It's starting now. And it just, I don't know. It just it wasn't really grabbing me to want to keep on watching while I was watching it. And I don't know, the characters, I don't know. I know one guy's name was Dallas because they said his name like 50 times at one point. Ripley, she's okay. Like, she's fine. I like Sigourney Weaver. I've seen her in lots of stuff. So, I like her. But I don't know. I don't really see the extreme appeal to this personally. I mean, I'm getting the time zone when it came out. Came out after Star Wars and stuff. So, I don't know. It just wasn't grabbing me.
Was it like a chore to you? Or to watch? Was it like a chore for you to watch?
It kind of, because I'm like, if I were to choose to watch this, I would have clicked off by now. And it's like, wasn't like, it just wasn't like nothing that was happening in the scenes were like getting me to care. Like, I wasn't interested in anything that they're doing. They're just kind of doing their job, like very mundane, it seemed. And I'm okay with low budget stuff. I'm okay with realistic things. Like that's fine. But this just wasn't hooking me.
Right, and I get that. And in the time period it was made, and I don't know how many of those 100 movies you've watched so far yet, but I can warn you now, especially stuff out of the 70s, a lot of it is moody and set up moody, so it takes time to get into the movie sometimes because that's part of how they show the mundane part of the day, stuff that they would really truck you through really fast as possible nowadays.
Right. Well, like Jaws. I saw Jaws. That was the first one that I watched of the classics that I'm trying to get through. So Jaws, I enjoyed that big time. And Jaws 2. And Kill Bill 1 and 2. Those were the other ones I watched.
Well, Jaws is set up a little differently. And Jaws actually, to me, almost was like a blueprint for the action / disaster movies to come in the 80s and 90s. So that was way ahead of its time. Alien was in a way ahead of its time too, but what really Alien was, and let's face it, at its heart, it's a slasher film. And that's why you didn't like it. And that's totally understandable. That's totally If it's not your thing, you're not gonna dig it, because that's what it is. It's showing you what they do in their normal everyday lives. It's just like a horror movie. You see the characters are gonna die usually in their everyday lives, and then something happens. They're getting ready for an event. They're either going off to the woods, or they're going to a birthday party, or they're doing this, or they're doing that.
Yeah.
Well, it just happens to be stumbling upon this beacon or whatever. So they go to investigate, and then they get themselves into this whole mess. So, and of course it's slow, moody setup, and it's a movie where 90% of what's in the first half of the movie would probably get chopped out nowadays.
Yeah, and I mean, I do appreciate some slow build. I do appreciate some build up. It doesn't have to jump right in. It doesn't have to be super flashy with action and stuff. It just like with the characters, like in the first 30 minutes where it moves the slowest, like I'm not attached to any character. Like I wouldn't even know who's the main character yet at that point. It's just
and that was done on purpose at that point. Because you're getting into it thinking, because you know who Ripley is and Sigourney Weaver is, just as this thing that's out there in the ethos.
Yeah.
But like Mary was saying, though, and she kind of I think she said she appreciated the fact that going into it, if you didn't know that she was going to be the hero, the movie really sends you for a tailspin throughout, because you don't know who's going to survive and who isn't. And that's the whole point. It's just like a slasher film in that way, until you get to that last girl, which is kind of the signature thing in horror movies. You don't always know who's going to make it, except for the ones that are obvious, like Nightmare on Elm Street, where Nancy is, but then that isn't even obvious at first either, unless you've looked at the poster or are aware of the film, because the way the movie is set up, that's even set up to where you think a different character is going to be the main character until she gets killed. So,
right.
subverting expectations. This movie does that very well too, with, I think, Tom Skerritt's character, because I think you get through the movie, you get going, you're like, I think I'm supposed to follow this guy, and then shit, it's like,
for me, it's like I don't really. It's not about whom I'm following. It's just like anybody on the screen. Like there hasn't been anything with them that they're doing or anything that makes me care about them. I'm just like, they're just all here. And the only thing I care about is the cat, because I wouldn't want my cat in that situation. That's the only thing I'm like concerned about. And
it should have been more well fleshed out, I guess, in the earlier parts. That's totally.
I felt like it was doing a good job of sort of setting up the situation.
Right.
I felt like this was a nice way to kind of get to understand the environment in which these people were working. They're in space. It's important to set up the fact that later she has to go into this little pod thing and go back to sleep, right? It's important to set up that these are their lives. These are people, and this is how they live. So I was completely fine with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to be contrary.
well, and to point out too, like I do like, but I'll point this out. Like, so Valerian came out like 2 years ago or a few years ago. I hated that movie too, and that's like super high budget and super flashy and actiony stuff. Bored me to sleep. Like they literally make space seem so boring in Valerian. So like,
and I'm not trying to make excuses for Alien either. I'm trying to get your point of view.
I get you too, and I mean I could see how some people can like it and attach to it. I guess I'm just not understanding why it's like hailed as one of the best films in history. It's just like I get some of it, but then like while I'm watching it and I'm not as interested, I'm thinking about things that I shouldn't be thinking about. Like on the ship, I'm like, why is the ship this gigantic? And why is the crew this small? And why is it like raining in one area of the ship practically leaking? Isn't that a problem? And then there's all these lights on. And then in my head, I'm going into like a nitpick areas when I'm like, oh no, that's
big. They're supposed to be truck drivers in space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of just having one driver, that's where you actually have that many people involved. And each of them do kind of have their own assignments as far as what their responsibilities are to do, and the leaking, I think, is just from the exhaust of the engine or something like that.
Yeah, I guess. But and then so I do like the robot.
Scott got the idea of this very lived-in space from Star Wars. That's what he wanted. He wanted a dirty, lived-in, like these guys bought this used junker ship that's way too old for what they're doing. That was kind of his idea, and it's sad because you shouldn't need me to explain that to you. He should have done that well enough within the movie, and I guess people have engulfed themselves into the lore of the film so much that when the first time you're watching it, it's not really something you're probably supposed to think about too much. But again, you did, so that now does age the movie, I guess, in a way. I'm trying to be I'm trying to see it through your eyes the first time 40 years later, how I would probably see it. But I don't know.
And it's just like I liked the robot twist. Like that was interesting. He just was trying, but it was kind of funny. I was laughing though. Like I don't know if I was supposed to be freaked out, but he was trying to like shove a magazine down her throat, and then the guy tries to pull him off, and then he just grabs his breast and tries to toss him, and then his head gets knocked off, and then goo starts coming out, and he's going like little noises, and I was kind of cracking up at that scene.
What he was gonna do is puke acid down her throat to kill her. Is what he was gonna do.
That's so disgusting.
Well, so I didn't really get that because he was a robot. So I was like, what is going on with that? So I was like, can you just like snap her neck real quick? But he's like throwing her around.
But they wanted them to like do the job, right? Like this was sort of like a big test run thing or whatever. They specifically wanted the interaction between the aliens and the people, as I understand it.
Right.
That's what everybody talking
about. I guess, but yeah. So I mean, so I can see how some people like it, but I just the first one just wasn't really for me. I only got like an hour and 40 minutes in, and so I know Ripley is the only character left other than the cat, and she still has to fight the thing. I'm just like, I mean, I've seen glimpses of this, I swear. So I'm like, I'm just not. I don't know if watching the rest is worth it for that, because it's just her against the thing, and like I'm already not into the whole horror aspect anyway. It's just not really there. It's just her against the one, and I don't know it. Like I like some concepts like that, sure, but I just, I guess it could have been the hype too. Like everybody's hyping it up as the best, awesome thing, and and the time and everything. And I'm like, I can't always take off my scope of where I am and what I've seen before,
right?
Like, to watch something, because I didn't exist in that time, and I can view some things like that, like Jaws. Like I was able to kind of see how Jaws was good and everything and whatnot, and just with this, I just wasn't hooked. So. Wasn't for me, but
the best I can give you is like at that time period, the most high caliber, well-regarded horror films were like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween, and they were made on shoestring budgets. This was a big budget, big deal movie that, I mean, that's the only way I can kind of put it. That there just had been nothing like this before. It was unique in how they took it seriously, how it wasn't just this corny B movie, even though the story itself was just a corny B movie, basically.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really the only kind of excuse I can give the film.
Well, and like how that in Star Wars, like Star Wars was the first of its kind, right? Being that big, high budget thing. So like I understand that completely. And whatnot, and for things that happened the first time is like a huge game changer and stuff. Wizard of Oz was like in color,
like Star Wars meeting 2001, really, for its time period. Like that's kind of how it was. It was like taking something that looked as cool and exciting as Star Wars was, mixing it with something that was moody and dark as 2001, and just kind of melding them together with this B movie plot. And for the time, it worked. It totally did. It worked gangbusters.
That, and I consider this too. It could just be the time that I'm watching it right now, that I'm just not in this type of mood. Like when I was maybe in high school, like this type of thing probably wouldn't have been up my alley, because I did actually like horror back in high school. Like I was more into it and like stuff. So, but now I've changed where I'm just kind of not as into the horror aspect, and maybe later I'll be more into certain different genres too. So. Different times, different things, but anyway, that's Alien.
You like Mary did, or
do what?
So I was asking Rookie Critic if did you watch Aliens, the second one yet?
Not yet. I'm gonna watch the whole trilogy. So yeah, my goal this week is to watch Pulp Fiction, Watchmen, The Karate Kid, and the Alien trilogy.
Karate Kid, when are you doing that one?
Are you doing a watch party then, Rookie?
What was that?
Are you going to do a watch party then?
Yeah. Yep. I don't know when to plan them, because this week's kind of full for me. So probably if I have my work schedule soon, then I'll probably try to plan those out for next week for watch parties.
Well, you let me know because now I'm ready for it. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
I'd like to hang out with, but for sure Karate Kid, because I don't know if you saw him when I did Flash on the thing. I got my Karate Kid shirt on. I stayed up all night watching Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll definitely invite you to the watch party for that then. And I'll be watching. Yeah, so I've seen the Jackie Chan Karate Kid.
Oh, good God.
People hate that one, but I don't know. I thought it was all right. I mean, I'm
well,
not.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the original, it would probably because.
Yeah, no. To me, I wasn't comparing it to the original because I haven't seen it. It was just as a movie.
No, I know. I'm just saying,
Jackie
if you have not
Chan-
seen the original, of course the remake's going to be okay because it's based on an excellent story.
Yes.
Ruined it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll see. I'll see. I feel like I feel like I might like Karate Kid more than Alien.
Oh yeah, you will.
I imagine, and I like the older fighting movies too. So like I do appreciate that type of style compared to the
timeless.
quick stuff.
I don't know if Rob agrees.
What?
The Karate Kid is
what? Yeah, it is timeless. There's not a whole lot of things to make it dated, except some parts of the soundtrack. Some of the fashions too, but
that's fine. That's fine.
But most movies nowadays are time period movies set in the 80s anyway. So what the hell's the difference?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. But yeah, so that's the Alien talk. I don't know if you guys want to talk more of classic movies or talk about something more current, like with Star Wars Episode 9 coming out or any of that stuff. Like, what do you guys want to talk
about? I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Rob take it out and print out because he's not that interested in Aliens, so obviously he had.
No, I'm not that big. I'm the least horror fan of everybody here, so I mean
I know he hated doing that.
That makes sense.
I have no interest in it at all.
Well, first of all,
oh
so
my
Mary,
God, that
I would say, Mary, longer can you be here?
I can do about 10 more minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, what were you gonna say, Rob?
Oh yeah, the Alien documentary we did. Yeah, that was that took a lot out of me. That really did.
Wait, the documentary?
We did an Alien mini documentary.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like something you. Oh, of course it took a lot out of you. You made it. Okay, my bad.
One of our Midnight's Edge videos. Or...
Got it. Tracking now. My bad. I thought you were like. I thought you. Okay, so my train of thought there was like, why would it take more out of you than the movie itself? And I thought you liked the movie, and I thought I was the only one that got bothered by it. And
he likes aliens. That's about it, probably.
Well, it was just. I'll tell you about it later.
Alrighty. All right. So I guess Mary, since you got 10 more minutes, what topic would you like to talk about?
Oh, Cobra Kai, but I don't want to I don't know who all's seen it yet.
Did you get to watch any of it yet?
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you did too, huh? You binged on it, huh?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
I only got to see the first episode.
Oh no!
Oh man.
I was screaming my head off at the end of the final episode. I was like, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't say anything. But
like
yeah,
those dirty bastards! You cannot not leave this like this.
Right?
This is not fair.
What assholes! Oh my god, I can't right now.
I don't want to give shit away either. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. So we, unlike The Last Jedi or the new trilogy for Star Wars, where you have these new characters that are essentially shoved down your throat and you don't really care about them, you just keep wondering what went on with Luke and everything. Unlike that, this particular series has taken its time. It's introduced these new characters to us in a way that has made them quite beloved to me, actually, at this point. And so at this point, at the end of this new season, I am completely and 110% invested in these new characters. And what goes down is just, my heart's broken. I need to know that everyone is, that I need to know what happens. And so I'm completely hooked. I need the next season and I need it now. So,
right?
All right, junkie. Come on.
That's what it feels like. You're like, no, you cannot stop now.
Give me my crack.
Everybody say in the chat, no spoilers. I would have no idea what you're referring to anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything. I don't want anybody to spoil anybody's reaction.
And I wouldn't want to spoil it for anyone. So guys, don't worry. I know how to.
Yeah, you worded that very vague. That was fine.
Yeah.
One thing I will say that Proper Jenny says in the chat, Cobra Kai season 2 makes Karate Kid 3 better. I was never one that really had a problem with Karate Kid 3, but he is right. It does help to have seen at least the first 3 Karate Kids quite a few times to see the series.
Should I see all 3 of them or just watch the
Oh,
Karate Kid and then go?
As far as the Karate Kid goes, they are. I don't know why people disliked the third one so much. I get it to a point because the villain is a little. What is his name? Snidely. What now? Rob.
Snidely Whiplash. No?
Snidely Whiplash. Yes.
Snidely Whiplash. Yeah.
Yeah. The villain is a little Snidely Whiplash in it. But other than that, the setup, the whole idea, it does extend the characters beyond. And I don't think the second movie gets enough credit either. I don't know if Rob likes the second and third movies at all, but
I think the second movie
is very underrated.
It really does. It ties everything in beautifully. I honestly, if you're not watching this show, I would go back and watch these movies again because it does heighten the experience of the show for sure. But like the whole thing is just beautifully crafted around. It's just
Well, so I have to ask. Out of the movies I listed, should I watch the Karate Kid next after I watch the Alien trilogy?
Well, you've seen it then, right? Have you not already seen it?
There's no bad time to watch.
I was just saying what should I watch next is what I was saying. So because Alien is the first one I watched out of this next group I'm trying to watch, and then I'll watch the Aliens 2 and 3. Then there's Watchmen or Pulp Fiction or the Karate Kid.
Now the Lone Wolf Cub, who I think you're going to have come on here, right?
Yep.
I got to disagree. He says the third was disliked because the second one was also crap. You're one of the few people I've ever heard say anything bad about the second one.
Tom.
Money in the theater than the first one, actually.
You do not know Cub. He's the most critical.
Well, no, this is actually important because I know now it's like no big thing. It's like expected for a sequel to make 2-3 times what the first movie did, right? Yep. Back then, Karate Kid 2 was one of the few. I challenge you to find another movie besides probably Aliens in that time period that made more money than the first film. And that is one of the few. Because usually the second movie would make only about half of what the first movie made. And then by the time you get to the third movie, you're looking at very diminished results to where they would only expect to do about a third. And that's why the budgets would go down after that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sequels generally didn't generate nearly as much money as the first movie. They just knew that on their hands, at best, they could probably bring in half of what the first movie made. So they knew they had at least that much of a hit on their hands.
That's actually funny.
Not as beloved as they are now.
It's actually funny because now everybody expects more from the sequels for some reason, and now it's like dreading in a way with the sequels because it's just you like that first one, well we'll do that again but with more. It's not as hook. I would like to go back. I would like to go back in time to those days.
Right, like in the 80s and stuff like that. I remember everybody hated sequels. The idea of sequels was always looked down on.
Yeah. Sequels were not that big a thing.
So when would you say it was like the first sequel that was like worth seeing that you're like, wow, sequels can be good, like they can actually be good.
Movies were kind of different. That was like almost expected in a way. But I mean, I remember just from growing up, every time a sequel come out, my dad and my mom would be like, "Oh no!"
The sequel that was worth seeing was The Godfather Part 2.
Well, that's exception to the rules as well. But like Jaws 2 made, even though you liked it, Rookie, that movie at the time I remember was not very well received.
Well, I mean, I'll say I liked it surprisingly because a lot of people said they don't like it. So I was going
to say a lot of people talk about Jaws 3, but I remember at the time everybody was like, "Oh, Jaws 2, that's garbage."
Yeah, I thought that one was surprising because he was so paranoid. I kind of like that paranoia aspect. He's just like, God, is there a shark? Is there another shark?
These sequels that I remember in the 80s being like kind of rising above or at least close to what the first film did would only be like Karate Kid 2 and Beverly Hills Cop 2.
They're going to say Beverly Hillbillies first.
Sequels.
Wrath of Khan.
I
thought you were going to say Beverly Hillbillies for a sec.
No, Beverly Hills Cop 2 was another big one that did very, very well and was fairly well received. Tony Scott directed that one too. That also helped.
I haven't seen Beverly Hills Cop either.
Oh man,
So I didn't even put that one on my
First
list of
of all,
films I didn't see yet.
man.
Hands down, Eddie Murphy's best movie.
I'll put that on. I'll write that down because I made a list of 100 films I haven't seen.
Have you seen Trading Places?
Oh, God.
No.
Oh, come on.
What's that? Trading Places. All right.
Have you seen This Is Spinal Tap?
Who? What?
That's
the wrong answer.
Now you're getting riled up.
Oh yeah. So Rob, you'll probably need to watch my 100 films I haven't seen video because
Well,
I
we're gonna have to have along for our Spinal Tap watch party, Rob. We got to get this board conducted.
The movie's called Spinal Tap.
This is Spinal Tap, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm writing suggestions down. People in the chat too are, going with suggestions now. They're saying Dawn of the Dead, Mad Max 2, Godfather 2.
Well, see, Dawn of the Dead, I don't know if you like that or not because you don't like horror movies.
Well, I'm confused.
No, have you seen
Karate Kid or not?
I know I have not seen. I said I saw the Jackie Chan Karate Kid.
So that's the only one you've seen.
Yeah.
Have you seen Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
No. I saw Three Ninjas when I was little. That was the closest Karate Kid I've probably seen.
Oh God, Three Ninjas doesn't.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question there. Remember that little thing called the Korean conflict where we failed to achieve victory? Yeah, you remember that, don't you? Let me ask you something. Why didn't we cross the 38th parallel? A push those rice to Japan to the Great Wall of China, and they're gonna start everyone. Why? Say it! Say that!
Is that supposed to be like Charlie Day or something?
Charlie Day.
Oh man,
sorry.
You just stabbed a knife in Rob. Wasn't that great, Proper Jenny? I don't know you anymore, Proper Jenny.
I've seen those words.
I'd be a part of that negativity. I'm sorry.
I've seen those words used before, but not in that context.
So this
by me is great, yeah.
So this will be a fun adventure of me seeing all these movies. I actually think I saw part of Evil Dead 3. What was that one called? Is
Army of Darkness.
I think that was on TV once, and I was coming in randomly, so I think I saw the part where he has like little clones try to attack him, and then they're like fighting a skeleton army. Kind of. It was so background to me because I was doing something else. But I did remember kind of liking that. So I will check out that series too. I think I have Evil Dead. I think I have the whole trilogy, and I have like Fight Club. I have some of these movies I need to watch. Down. I feel like if I got a PO box, people would flood me with movies I need to see because I haven't seen so many.
At least they're not harassing you to watch horror movies when you don't. Do
yeah, that's actually good. I do appreciate that because the majority of the movies like Halloween is so good, and I'm like, I don't see it.
Dude, all anyone has done to me since I saw Alien is request that I just watch more horror movies. I think they actually enjoy watching me be tormented.
See, my thing was I watched so many horror movies that I didn't like them anymore. That was my effect. When I got Netflix for the first time, there was mostly horror movies that came up for suggestions. So I watched a lot of them. And then after a while, I was starting to notice patterns and things. And I'm just like, I can't watch anymore.
Who knows?
Horror movies is that horror fans eat it up like it's candy. And I get that. They're one of the most blind fandoms out there, but I love them for it.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm the type of person where I know if somebody does not like horror, there is literally only a handful of movies that I could say, look, these are kind of horror, but they're also more like thrillers or fantasy or something else in them that would make it work for other people possibly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay. To be fair,
I was about to say there's only one real horror movie that I really do like, and that's An American Werewolf in London.
Seeing that by comedy.
Yeah.
And that's where I say Alien is one of those. And the reason I bring this up is because to kind of answer your question, why people love this movie so much is because it's one of those movies that's more accessible than most horror movies are. It is in that pantheon of at least 5 titles that I would give anybody who isn't even a horror fan to say, chances are you're going to like this movie, even though it is kind of a thriller, suspense, a horror, whatever. You know what I mean? That's one of them usually. It's sad that it didn't work for you in that way, but that's the way it goes sometimes, you know. And if you see a lot of horror movies, then nothing you can do.
Right. Well, and there are some horror movies that I do think that I like, but I mean, typically I don't. There's an odd one that I kind of liked, but I don't want to watch ever again, and that's Strangeland. You ever seen that one?
It's not considered very good. I tried watching it. I
Oh, I
couldn't.
mean, when I saw that when I was like in middle school, I think, and that freaked the hell out of me because of the piercing stuff, and I wasn't that into it. And like that kind of thing was heebie-jeebies for me, big time. That one. I wouldn't say is great, but that did effectively freak me out, big time.
Yeah.
There's other types of movies that I consider to be similar. Well, I guess certain monster ones can work. Like I love Tremors.
Yeah, Tremors isn't really set up like a horror movie though.
Right. I don't know what type that would just technically fall under for a category, but I do like in a way Tremors is similar to Jaws for me.
Comedy. Yeah. More Jaws oriented adventure comedy.
It's comedy, but still I like the concept's freaky. Like if you're just walking on the ground and then whoop, something's gonna take you. It's
all right. Well, I really do have to bounce.
Alrighty.
I have to go get a few things squared away before I start my stream here in about an hour. But I want to.
All right, no problem. We'll try to be off by then.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you.
No problemo. Thanks for coming, Mary. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, we got to review Cobra Kai here yet tonight too.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, sure. I have a stream going live in about an hour. If you guys want to catch it, we're going to be talking about a little bit about Brie Larson and how she's such a twat waffle. Then we'll be talking a little bit about this whole Han Solo Force Ghost mess that's been rumored to be taking place in episode 9. So yeah, it should be fun.
Oh boy. Well, thank you for coming by, Mary. It's always fun.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now get the fuck out of here.
Bye. See you later.
All right, we'll have Lone Wolf Cub join us soon, but yeah, this is a good conversation over here. Rob and Tom, I'm so sorry for destroying your guys' hearts with having not seen so many classics, but
I'm
making it.
You haven't seen them. That's not the thing. You can always see them. It's whether or not you end up loving them or not.
True, I guess, but I am working on it. I knocked down 5 so far now, so it's
okay. Which 5 have you seen that?
So I saw Jaws 1 and 2, and I think I actually saw Jaws 3 when I was younger, and I didn't really care. And I saw Kill Bill 1 and 2, which I was expecting to actually not like it because of all the hype for it, but I loved them. Kill Bill 1 and 2, I love that. I haven't seen that specific style before with the fighting type of movie, so that was pretty interesting. I loved that one. And then
hard to explain to somebody,
yeah. So I don't know. I really did like that. I liked how some scenes seem like they go for a long time, but it's like getting more intense as it goes. So I liked it. Hey, what's up, Cubby? Do you have the stream muted?
Yes. I hope I'm in now.
Yep, you're in. That's what she said, but you're in. Yep.
Oh, very cool. Thanks.
It's cool though that you did like Kill Bill 1 and 2 and you hadn't seen like Pulp Fiction, and I'm assuming you haven't seen like Reservoir Dogs or any of other Tarantino.
The only other is Inglourious Bastards Tarantino.
Yeah, but that's
the only one that I've seen. Which that one I would say I loved like 2 or 3 scenes in that movie. Like I would say it's like one of the few of the best scenes in film, but the movie overall I didn't really like Inglourious Bastards, but. That's just me. It was more Brad Pitt, I guess. I don't know. I didn't. I was kind of like, but I did like. I did like.
Care for him before that movie. That movie kind of made me warm up to him more than I ever had before. That's the funny part.
For me, it was the transition between the intense Christoph Waltz, thing in the beginning, and then he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna kill some Nazis." I don't know. He seemed so goofy compared to. Yeah, so to me,
it's like you actually like Kill Bill and you haven't seen any of his other stuff yet. That's what's crazy. So
yeah, and with Pulp Fiction, I've watched the first 20 minutes, but I got distracted by something else, so I had to go take care of that. And I will return to it. I think I left off at the part where what's his face is at the bar, and they're gonna see what's his face. I'm forgetting their names. John Travolta is at the bar. Yeah, at the beginning. That's how far I am. It seems like a really long movie, but I like it so far.
You can't miss any of it, and it's one of those movies where it gets you kind of prepared for Tarantino. You almost should have watched Reservoir Dogs first. I don't know if
I actually didn't even have that on my list for Reservoir Dogs.
It's kind of like Pulp Fiction beta version, and it kind of gets you ready for the idea of how Pulp Fiction works in a way. It's like kind of a, how do I put this? because like Pulp Fiction's all over the damn place. Reservoir Dogs is too, but it's just a little bit more linear. So it's kind of, you get the idea what Pulp Fiction is going to be like, I guess. But anyway, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but Reservoir Dogs was just a remake from I think South Korean movie or something like that.
Yeah, it shares a lot of elements, but it also it does what Tarantino does. He just kind of culls things from all kinds of different places. And
Yeah, he's kind of a more smart copycat.
kind of, but the way he mixes it, he reminds me of the old school rap DJs, not not after Puff Daddy come in and just started looping everything, but the guys who used to sit there and mix 2 or 3 songs together, so you didn't exactly know what they were sampling, but that's kind of the way it feels with him. It's like, I know he's pulling this from something, but I don't know what. It's like,
yeah, but the sampler. I'm a DJ myself, and the sampler still stays sampler the whole life. They never get really innovative or something like that because they just can't. They are a kind of smart copycats, and for me, Tarantino is also something like that. But I don't mind it. I like Tarantino movies.
yeah, he is. He's like one of those guys who does a lot of cover songs, but you don't mind it because he does a good job. I don't know. See, Rob's not the biggest Tarantino fan, I don't think.
No,
Yeah, it's, oh, sorry. I don't want to.
that's okay now.
No, it's how respectful you are to the artist you are covering or you are ripping off. When you see somebody like Jar Jar Abrams, he's also a copycat, and he covers his tracks very smart. When you see somebody else like Zack Snyder, he just copy and pastes, or somebody like this Transformers guy. They're just copying and pasting. They don't have own ideas, and but they're all in the same category. And for me, Quentin Tarantino is also in this category, but he's much smarter than the other ones, and he has much more respect for the things he copies.
Right, and he's a very capable filmmaker technically too. That also helps.
Yes, and also his writing is when you compare him to the other guys, his writing is much better. He knows exactly how dialogue works and how people speak to each other. And if you ask somebody like Snyder or this Transformer guy, they don't know how people speak to each other in normal life.
That's true. Rob, I don't know if you agree with that at all, but
yeah, I think he's getting a drink, so he'll come right back.
Now I'm back. I don't have anything to contribute because I'm not a fan of Quentin Tarantino.
You've only seen what, like one of his movies, I think you said?
I saw Kill Bill, and that was the first Kill Bill, and that was enough for me. I said to myself, I've seen 70s kung fu movies. Why do I need to watch this?
Yeah. Rob is exactly on my track, and I want to take this opportunity to say, oh my God, it's for me such a great honor to speak to you, Tom, and you, Rob, because I listen to you since years. I'm a big fan of every channel. I'm a big fan of Midnight's Edge and also After Dark. And I was also a big fan of Robert Shlomo.
No way.
I'm missing constantly content.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
Yep.
No, I'm not kidding you. You can watch it up. I'm the LoneWolfcub and also the Japango in my German version. And I wrote you some comments under your videos because I had back then I had the fear you are stopped making videos because the content was awesome, but you had so little viewers. And I thought, oh my God, no, I don't want him to stop making videos because of that.
Yeah, well, I haven't had the time actually to dedicate to that much because of Midnight's Edge, but I sneak a few of them here and there. So
yes, I know, but they're too little. We need more.
Okay, I'll get to work on that.
They're also Robert Shlomo fans, and you have to give us content.
I'll work on it.
I'm telling them you guys keep asking for the Rob rants and stuff too, and he don't listen.
Nope. Yeah, let's listen to this guy, Rob. The Lone Wolf Cub is the most dedicated viewer in this community. I would say.
Oh yeah.
Definitely take his word.
Thank you for being a fan. No, really. Yeah, I'm always amazed. Like, really, people are interested in what I have to say. It's unbelievable. Really,
Yeah.
this is after years of my everybody in my family telling me to shut up. So.
Well, I will tell you something. We both will go on the same journey when I am releasing my 3 years anniversary video, my Spider-Man retrospective, because normally I don't make any content about this stupid comic book stuff, but this is an exception. And I will also speak about this new Spider-Man fuck up, this animated shit. And you are the only other guy on the whole internet who is the same opinion than me on the new Spider-Man, so-called Robert Rodriguez whatsoever. I don't give a fuck because I'm a Parker fan. I was ever my whole life a Peter Parker fan. I will ever be, and I'm so pissed of this whole situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Lone Wolf Cub.
Yes.
He's the best ranter of this stuff. He's not afraid to call the best thing shit. But he has good reasons. He has defenses. He has good perspectives on this type of thing. And why don't you tell people about your content, Cub, while you got the floor, man?
Yeah. As I said, I make some reviews, but there are not reviews, there are reviews, and because it's a kind of diary of my life, I'm normally just reviewing movies I saw in theaters or movies that infected my life personally, and I tell every time also a little story that are connected to these movies, because I spent my whole life with movies. The first book I ever read was a dictionary about science fiction movies from 1983. So yes, I'm completely into this stuff, and yes, it's a great honor for me to speak to you both guys, and I'm so sorry that I'm speaking so much because I want to hear you say something.
No, I'm actually having more fun listening to you, but
yeah,
we do appreciate, our fans are the reason we do this. If it wasn't for you guys out there listening and watching and all that, we wouldn't do what we do. That's really what it boils down to. So
yeah,
we do get the kind words.
Okay, I have a serious question. Robert Meyer Burnett, how did you get to this guy?
Actually,
because
it's not
he is fantastic. He knows his stuff so well, and really, your new show, you are plugging this new show, this new horror show.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. You said in the beginning this will be the best podcast on horror movies or something like that.
Horror movies, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not with a Burnett guy. It's with another guy. He's also great. But I think this thing will be a great success because it's awesome. It's awesome. It's really the format I'm waiting for since years. Really.
Well, to answer your question, sorry, go ahead.
No, with the Burnett, because of Star Trek and so on, it was so refreshing to hear somebody who is so much in this stuff that you really think he's breathing Star Trek. He knows but better than anyone ever I've heard on this matter. Anyone.
Basically, what I did was I knew the right people, I guess, because I've been fairly good friends with one of his good friends, Bill Hunt, for a while now. And through him, we kind of got a little correspondence going. And, he was kind of one of our sources in a way, but he just kind of came out. So it was like, he was never really that much of a anonymous source. But to me, that's kind of one of my go-to examples of when people go, well, who are your guys' sources? You never say, well, of course we're not going to say, because our sources are anonymous. They don't want to get blacklisted or blackballed. But unfortunately for Mr. Burnett, he's been pretty much blackballed because of Axanar already. So he's really been one of our, big sources on this whole Star Trek thing going on. And he's just been so generous with his time. He's a really great down-to-earth guy. That's the main thing, first of all. Like, I mean, really, it's not a persona from what I can tell. He's pretty much what you see is what you get. He tries to make time for everybody as much as he can, and I gotta imagine it stretches the guy thinner than shit, but excuse my language if this is not supposed to be
you've heard fuck and shit thrown around here. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, so I think
I'm not monetized. You're good.
But no, I can't praise the guy enough. He's been there for the channel in so many ways already.
Yes, and to speak about this, your new show, your new horror show. What was the name of this guy? Because he was
that's
also
Mr. H Reviews, and it just so happened that Robert had actually been a fan of the channel beforehand too. That helped. Surprisingly, he followed us pretty religiously, I guess, and even Mecca and stuff too, and Doomcock. He was a big fan of Doomcock when we first started talking to. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the Doomcock thing is also something I discovered thanks to you, and thanks again. Thanks again for that, because first time I heard of Doomcock was when Rob spoke of him. He said, "Oh, this guy, his name is Doomcock. I'm pretty sure he's not long on the internet or something like that because of this name, and he's really good." And I thought Doomcock was a kind of pseudonym from Rob when he said that.
No, I'm not. I'll admit I am not that clever to come up with that. I really am not. I don't know. He turned up. Doomcock turned up in my recommendations, and I said, "Okay, let me give." And I'm willing to give anything a watch, really. And I was just blown away by this guy. It was just unreal.
And I'm blown away when people don't recognize which impact Midnight's Edge and also your channel had on this community the last 2 years, or the last 2.5 years even. Because thanks to you, people seem to forget that it all started, the ground zero of awfulness started back then with Ghostbusters 2016, and your channel was the go-to source for information. The thing you did back then, and you really changed the face of this community, of this kind of this part of YouTube. You changed it. And then when sometimes I see you on streams and something like that, and I see that people don't recognize you, who you are, and so on. I'm baffled. I'm so baffled. And as I said, it's for me such a great honor that I can speak to you personally, because I'm not this kind of guy. I make my stuff, I watch things and so on, but I also recognize things. When somebody does something awesome and outstanding, I recognize it.
Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate the kind words. Yes, and so everybody go check out the Lone Wolf Cub. Jeez,
yes,
you do have to say a lot of credit has to go to Andre. That cannot be expressed enough. He is the brains. He's the man who makes all the decisions, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here. And and it's awesome when we find people who actually listen to us on After Dark, because that's usually the reason. Most people, if they recognize anybody, it's Andre. And I'm not even sure if sometimes people recognize Rob from the voice, because when he's on After Dark, he's usually being so goofy that people wouldn't necessarily put two and two together all the time. But a lot of times it's weird that people just think it's one guy or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. is Rob really a comedian? Because I saw
Yes, yes, I am.
no, because I saw the comedian, the Twilight Zone episode, and Rob is nothing like that.
Oh, jeez.
Well, and it's funny because when I first discovered you guys, Midnight's Edge, like I didn't really get the whole shtick at the time. I was just, I think it was through Doomcock Mech. It was, I don't know who I discovered first, who I stumbled onto, but then, but I knew the Lone Wolf Cub, and he was talking to me. Like he explained the whole thing. He's like, there's Andre, and there's these other things, and trying to tell the story, like the history, almost exactly like how you guys told it earlier.
Rookie, that was a compliment I gave Rob. I told him he was nothing like the comedian in Twilight Zone.
Yeah, because that guy's not funny. Yeah,
it wasn't funny at all. I thought, okay, if that's a comedian, but Rob can't be a comedian if that's a comedian.
I always tell people this: for every one joke that's funny, you have to tell 20 bad ones. If
that's kind of
at the very least. Yeah.
Same thing with the show. And I mean, there's times people are like, you guys are just like some old radio talk show. And Rob's like, thank you. He's like, because
it's on YouTube. It's an old radio talk show on YouTube. Like,
both of us come from that era. I come from radio. He's in comedy. And that's one thing about Midnight's Edge is it's the team. And it's not just us, because we have a network of other YouTube channels and our sources and friends and stuff like that all, we all work together as a team. And that's the best part, is if it wasn't for one cog or the other doing what it's supposed to do, then it wouldn't work for us. And I mean, there's times where we get told to take it back a little bit on the comedy and the bits and the goofing around. But
don't do that.
When it's hot. You can't deny it,
Yeah, true.
But Tom, I want to ask you something. Would you ever have expected, after you talked to so many interesting guys in your interviews, also even to Nicholas Meyer, the director of Wrath of Khan, and many other interesting movies like The Day After and so on. But people know him because of Wrath of Khan and also Star Trek 6. But
Time After Time is probably another one of my favorites of his.
But would you ever have suspected that the most interesting interview you had on your channel was the one with Tom McLaughlin?
Well,
from my point of view.
Interested to see why you think that one was the most interesting first, and then I guess I can try and answer that.
I was blown away when I heard this interview, because I wasn't his biggest fan before the interview. I wasn't his biggest fan because I knew most of his movies. He made Friday the 13th Part 6, the goofy one, and also Sometimes They Come Back. It's an okay adaptation from a boring as fuck story from Stephen King, because I know most of Stephen King's content. And Tom McLaughlin was for me never the go-to guy when it comes to a good direction or something like that. But the interview changed my mind on him completely. When he explained why he did what he does, and what his intentions were for his movies and so on, and you asked the right questions, it was really, from my point of view, it was the best interview you had on your channel.
Well, thank you. Well, Tommy made it easy. He is God, I don't even know how to put it. He was just the most giving individual,
gracious,
very gracious. As one of my personal, because before that I was with Andre and I had interviewed Gary Tunnicliffe, and I had talked to a few celebrities in private, but I'd never actually interviewed anybody other than like Andre. Really, we kind of did like a interview thing at one point for After Dark, before it was After Dark, I think he was on there, but that wasn't even really a formal interview per se. But he was just so gracious with everything, and he made it so easy, and he was just a great guy to talk to, an easy guy to talk to. He's just a sweetheart. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not trying to make him sound like, you know, like
no. Did you expect
anyway,
such on the earth guy, such a normal guy that you can talk to so easily? I think what baffled me was after the interview, I really thought, oh my God, this is a guy I really want to drink a beer with.
Oh yeah, and I had him on again after that, and I've talked to him a few times. He's just a straight up great guy. It seems like, much like Robert Meyer Burnett, to where those two I could see where you're coming from there. Where he made me felt the most at ease in all the interviews that I've done. I have several that have yet to get released that will be, but yeah, the Nicholas Meyer on the other hand was, oh man, that was a nerve-wracking one.
Yes, but he's the most famous name from the
to a point. Yeah, I don't know if have you seen the Robert Shea one we did?
Yeah, I saw everyone. I saw every piece of content you ever put out on every channel.
Because personally, I would say Robert Shea is probably the bigger one, but I guess more people would probably know.
Yeah, when you go from the money thing, I spelled it out in the chat. Money is for me not the indicator at all. Okay, Robert Shea may be a big name, but he made some decisions I totally not agree with as a producer.
And I understand.
As a producer, and I'm still on the standpoint of a fan, not so much of a real critic or somebody who is really in this whole schlock. That's the reason why I can speak to you so directly, and I can also speak to you about your Hellraiser interview. First off, the Hellraiser series you put out on Midnight's Edge was one of the best I've ever seen.
That mostly goes to Andre, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have so much respect for Andre if he's responsible for that, because that was awesome. That was really awesome, in-depth view on things. And I have a friend who is a really big Hellraiser fan and knows everything Hellraiser. I sent him these videos, and he thanked me after that. And I thought he will be annoyed. So something like, oh, you want to tell me something about Hellraiser? I don't know. What do you think? No, he thanked me after that, because he got really insights he didn't hear before that. So,
oh yeah, there was tons of that interview that got cut out. There was stuff that was off the record. We talked to Gary for over 6 hours straight. I'm not joking. It's crazy.
I'm going also to make a special about Hellraiser on Halloween, but I won't be so soft on especially the new ones as you were with your interview partner, because I'm not such a fan. I'm very conservative when it comes to Hellraiser. Hellraiser is maybe one of my favorite franchises ever, but I don't see it really as a franchise, because Hellraiser 1 is really good and Hellraiser 2 is awesome. Or you can change that. Hellraiser 1 is awesome and Hellraiser 2 is really good. It depends on the mood I'm in.
Right.
But that's for me Hellraiser. There is no Hellraiser 3 or something like that.
Well, I get where you're coming from there totally, and I'm sure Andre would appreciate hearing that as well. And you know, again, those were labors of love, because they damn near killed Andre and I getting those done. And, and the thing that he's very upset about is people are overlooking our Robert Shea interview, because according to Robert Meyer Burnett, he couldn't get a hold of Robert Shea to interview him for the Lord of the Rings DVDs, and we got some stuff out of him that, as far as he knows, has never been anywhere else. But it hasn't gotten that many views, so it hasn't got picked up yet. Like, you know, like the Nick Meyer interview, that got, you know, heat right away. But yeah, it's just strange.
Tom, your interviews deserve 1 million views minimum.
I
Because-
appreciate
They
No,
do deserve more views, don't they? Hello.
Hey, Mecca,
Oh,
yes.
Party Crasher.
Oh my
Mecca has
God!
joined. Hooray.
Hello.
Hey, Mecca.
it up.
Hi.
Oh, Rookie, thank you so much. I have the chance to speak here to my favorite YouTubers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Yeah, he's Mecca Random. He's like the best viewer around here. Like he's with everything, watches everyone's videos, comments on everything. The Lone Wolf Cub here.
Yeah.
And,
Hello.
I also chatted with Mecca in the comment section, and I also played one of her games back then when she made these movie games.
Yeah, I remember those. Those were fun. But yeah, Mecca, why don't you just introduce yourself to the crowd real quick since you're here? Yeah.
Oh, well, hello. Sorry for crashing the party so late. Like, I have been exhausted, passed the crap out all afternoon. Just, I do YouTube. I yell at cameras. I get harassed by Brie Larson fanboys and trolls. And,
You're on YouTube?
yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know how to introduce myself.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you were Mecca Random 42, everyone's favorite YouTube harpy.
Yes, that too.
Oh, and Becca, by the way, congrats. You have now reached 30,000 or something like that.
Oh god, it's like 34 last time I checked. Shit,
34?
yeah.
Hell
Holy
yeah.
crap.
Oh,
Sweet.
very cool. I'm so glad and proud that the YouTubers I really like get now finally kind of recognition, because when I discovered back then, for example, Gary's channel, he was under 6,000 subscribers, and I really thought, oh my God, this guy deserves so much more. And now the last months, he's now also on 30,000 or something like that, and he deserves every one of them. He's one of the greatest YouTubers out there. And also, Mecca, congrats to you, 30,000 or 34,000 or whatever. It's great.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, God, I think I subbed over Gary's channel when they were like at 700 or something really low. Well, that was because of Doomcock. He was like giving him so many shout outs and he was hanging out over there. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go see what the fuss is about. So yeah, I just don't have time to watch anybody anymore.
That makes sense. The more creators, and there's more and more creators these days too. So as you're trying to make stuff for your own life, watch YouTube, there's just not enough hours in the day.
Oh, tell me about it.
I'm starting to understand that. I'm as small as I am, and I get that right now.
Yeah, we get how many kids? Don't you watch your own videos? It's like, dude, I ain't got time to watch other people's videos, let alone my own videos.
No
man.
way.
Shit, I don't have time to watch. Like, why would I watch myself? I made the thing.
You already know what it was. You made it, and you're done. Then that's it. That's in the past now. It's done.
So, Rookie, are you going to change the title of this stream in Midnight's Edge After Dark stream unofficial or something like that?
I don't know. I wasn't sure if Mecca or Neurotic was gonna come by.
Hey,
so I just
Hey,
you can change the title.
Yeah, you it actually helps your algorithm if you end up like changing your title halfway through.
I did not know you can do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. I will keep that in mind for the future. And speaking of the algorithm, I did a test video like that's literally showing. It was just a Brie Larson video that just shows the growth of people who make Brie Larson videos, like Geeks and Gamers, That Star Wars Girl, John Talks, Julie, Wish Upon a Vlog, how they've grown. And that video has like over 1,000 views. It's my highest viewed video now. And I gained like 30 subscribers within a day.
Oh yeah, Brie Larson stuff is so popular.
Rookie, you excluded a very important one who makes Brie Larson's videos, and it is Boldstrack. Because since he made Brie Larson's videos, his subscriber account stagnated, and he's losing subscribers since then.
Oh, wow. Well, no, this is just a fun one that I noticed because I've been following the channels, and then they keep on growing. And yeah, Mecca, I could have sworn you've just been growing anyway. Like I think even before Brie Larson, you started to pick up more subs as you've been going.
It just depends because I kind of bounce from thing to thing. Like I was getting, you know, I would get a lot for like, oh God, what was a hot topic like 6 months ago or 3 months ago? It's just whatever. Ghostbusters it's still huge, you know. And I think a lot of the growth is just being like playing the algorithm, releasing small videos every day. I've been releasing a lot of Star Trek videos. I've been releasing a lot of Mary Sue article rants. And but yeah, the Brie Larson stuff is definitely my highest viewed. And then you can kind of look down, and like the second highest is like Picard series stuff that gets a surprisingly, depending on what the video is, gets a surprisingly big number of hits. Like, and then Ghostbusters, you know, people still love Ghostbusters. So
yeah, of course, I find it very strange, but it's kind of funny because people will want to click on those ones, and they'll go to your channel for it. But then, do people watch any of your other videos once they find your channel? I've been kind of wondering about that.
The Brie Larson stuff, no. Like my Cobra Kai video was sitting at under 1,000 for like 8 hours, and it's only, let me see, the Cobra Kai video is only at She-Ra and like Netflix. The She-Ra stuff does really well too, but no, my Cobra Kai one that I published at 3:30 this morning for episode 1 was 1,193 right now. Views. Brie Larson 35,000 from like 9 o'clock last night. 2,000 for a Pike spinoff. 25,000 Brie Larson. 3,000 Star Trek Discovery review. 10,000 Avengers Brie Larson. 2,000 Orville review. Right? Like seriously, it's bad. That's how it goes, you know.
Oh man, I was kind of hoping that like people would come in, like they'd go with the hook, you know, they get the Star Wars topic or the Brie Larson topic, and then go, okay, so that was one video I like from them. Now let's see what else they have. Nope, they just watched the one video, and that's pretty much it. Unless there's another one like it, maybe, but it's a little disappointing.
I think Tom wants to speak about Gremlins.
Nice. Oh, you got a camera.
Yeah, but Gremlins and Critters, they're both some kind of lost things because I don't have any hope for this franchise ever.
I haven't seen that series either.
No, I was back then a big fan, and I saw them in the cinema and so on. And but nowadays, in this political with what's going on with the SJW stuff, I don't want to see any Gremlins, Critters, or anything like that. Not nowadays.
You don't want to see a remake? No? Just kidding.
Yeah.
But, speaking of all this other stuff, so Mecha, and this goes for all of you, Tom and Rob and everybody, since the main topics have been, you know, Brie Larson and Star Wars and stuff, is there something else that you guys would want to talk about today? Or, you know, what was that? Yeah.
One more time, Tom. He didn't hear.
Rob always wants to talk about porn.
Well, I mean, that's too easy to talk about.
I can talk about porn all day.
That's the problem. Like Mecca kind of just brought up. The problem is usually it seems like if you like something,
yeah,
it doesn't generate views, and then people gripe, "Oh, you guys don't ever like anything." Like, we do. You just didn't watch the freaking video, evidently.
God, I just had a HuffPost asshole, one of these verified checkmark cunts, right? Sorry, I can swear here, right? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not monetized. You're good.
Okay. So yeah, one of these verified checkmark Huffington Post guys who took a screenshot of my page, right? Like a whole bunch of videos that he was recommended, and they're all Brie Larson. And he like just said, oh, you know, somebody's obsessed, or he did some nasty comment, right? And he didn't even, like, he has me blocked, right? So I had to hear about this through Yellow Flash, who, if anybody knows, through the Vic Mignogna, Comicsgate stuff and AnimeGate stuff, he's a really huge YouTuber.
Awesome,
through that.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Yellow Flash. Great YouTuber. But yeah, he sent me that, and I was blocked by that guy, so I couldn't see it. But in the thread, then I saw what it was. I'm like, oh well, that's YouTube's fault. That's all people are clicking. And you know, do we blame YouTube or do we blame the viewers? Because the viewers are clicking it. The viewers are curious. The viewers cannot get enough of the Brie Larson stuff. And so I took a screenshot today and I sent it out to somebody who sent it to me and was like, did you know? I'm like, yeah, I did. Well. And so I took a screenshot of my last few videos where the Cobra Kai one had been up for like hours, with less than 1,000 views. And I'm like, see, this is false representation of my channel. You guys want the Brie Larson stuff, but you complain that we give you the Brie Larson stuff. It's like, clearly you're clicking it. That's why it's in your recommendations.
It seems like they're doing the same thing, really. If anything, they're trying to, this is a hot topic, so let's talk about how they're talking about it.
And that's what's so crazy about it too. Is like I figured out we're kind of like the tabloid newspapers, where like the real journalists are so bought and paid for that we're basically giving the gossip. We're saying, oh my God, is there drama behind the scenes? Here's actual footage. We're even better than the tabloids because we're showing evidence.
Let's say you guys actually show articles and have links, and you show things, and they go, these guys make lies about them, and they hurt poor little Brie Larson and Disney. These evil YouTubers are so mean. And I'm working on a video now, actually looking at this whole thing with all those videos and whatnot. What are you going to say, Tom?
I was just going to say, my favorite is that we just make shit up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not making shit up. I'm showing you this evidence, and I'm saying, could it be this or this?
I don't see the video that says that Brie Larson was abducted by aliens.
Hell of a lot more salacious than that.
I know.
It could have been Brie Larson's abducted by aliens and probed by, monsters. I don't know.
Brie Larson used to be a guy, y'all.
But Tom, you are clearly making shit up, and the proof is the response when you said in one of your last videos, when did the production start for Star Trek Picard series, and they announced
exactly. They do that every time. Like when I put out that interview with Alex Kurtzman from AV Club, where he said, "Oh yeah, the Section 31 series isn't ordered yet. We don't have a series order." Then the next day, I got a copyright strike. When I put out that video about, hey, what's going on? Where's Discovery? Next day they tweet out, yes, season 3's coming. Season 3's here.
Yeah, so you are clearly making stuff up.
I get more views than their StarTrek.com on their interviews. They get maybe 3,000 views total. I'm getting 50,000 views on a Picard video.
Well, the other funny one is they keep saying they have sources, but they never say who these sources are. Well, of course, because they're going to stay anonymous because they don't want to lose their jobs or be black, like I said before. And I said, not only that, I think the fact that of the people we've talked to, it kind of speaks for itself that we obviously probably have some real sources. I don't know about you guys. It's not like we're just some podunk, so-and-so is just saying, this is what I heard from somebody where we don't have anything to back it up. Rob,
I heard that Billy Job told Billy Bill that did whatever doing this. And I can't do a country accent, so that's horrible. Down in the trailer trying to do that in the trailer, but yeah.
What'd you say, Tom? What were you saying to me?
I thought you were going to say something after I was talking.
No, you are clearly making stuff up because you have Kyle McLaughlin on your channel and also Nicholas Meyer himself. So, of course, you're bogus.
Well, it's funny you brought up earlier, you said I asked Tommy McLaughlin the right questions. That was kind of the trick to the whole Nicholas Meyer interview once I got into the thick of the shit.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I thought Nicholas Meyer wouldn't speak so much about the stuff that really matters, but you got him to speak a little bit about some interesting stuff. I was really
well, and I found out, I was asking him the right questions because people will point out certain things he said earlier on in the interview, which we left in on purpose. We could have cut all that crap out if we wanted to, but I left it in on purpose to kind of show that. Andre and I talked about it, and, he said, because it shows that really it was me asking the right questions, because obviously he can't answer half the shit I am asking. Literally, he cannot answer it.
Yeah,
despite answering it.
He's under contract, and I know also exactly. Also, when you make your Hellraiser interviews, it's a kind of difficult path. You go there because you have this guy, he's so nice and gives you the interview, but also maybe you are not the biggest fan of the product, but you have to be kind of in the middle. And that's the thing. I'm glad that I'm still this small channel. I can say what I want to, I can make what I want to, and I do that. With my reviews, I don't hold back in any way.
No, he does not.
No, but maybe when I get bigger and prominent or something like that, I have to deal with this shit. But now I haven't, and that's great. I'm glad about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of stuff I asked him that he just couldn't answer or wouldn't answer, and I just left it out at times. There was a few of those. But I think you came to kind of see as you got into the interview that it really was more so that he was obligated under some kind of non-disclosure agreement that he was not able to talk about certain aspects of the production. And I don't feel like he would have talked to us if he was still that in any way, shape, or form close to anybody over there. I almost feel like his talking to us was almost kind of a way of
like an FU.
I don't want to put anything in it. And again, this is my speculation. I do, but in a way, like Mecca just said, kind of not so much an FU, but it's like, hey guys, you remember you used me and shuffled me to the back? Yeah, I'm still here. And I could be a bigger thorn in your side than it. This was kind of more like, help me out here, Rob. Like, he wasn't necessarily like throwing CBS under the bus.
He was reminding them that he's still around.
Yeah,
that he could make it a hell of a lot harder for him.
I could make things very difficult for you guys. That's that's
well, I think that's what a lot of us do. I think that's what I did when I made that video immediately after my copyright strike. I gave them basically a warning saying, we know here's proof of you guys stalking my channel. Here's proof of what you're doing. Back off. And a couple days later, the strike was removed. And it's like you gotta kind of play hardball with these people.
You fire a shot across the bow is what it is.
That's exactly what I did. I'm like, and I left that up, and I'm like, here's the thing: people are gonna like really, really get pissed if they know, if it really gets out that you're silencing people.
Yeah, at the end, it comes all to the research. These guys don't expect that people have done their homework. They expect these are some channels who want to make money with clickbait or something like that. But when they get to people who really do their research, like Midnight's Edge and also Mecca or Doomcock or Gary, they have to back off. When they see that there is somebody who really knows his stuff, they know.
There's stuff that we could have gone with, we never did. If we wanted to just go after certain clicks and burn certain bridges, there's tons of stuff we could have reported or gone with even before other people did if we wanted to run it and get ahead of the game. But that's not what we're all about. And I don't think people take that into consideration when they're like, oh, they're just in it for the clicks. They're just in it for the clicks. No, we worry about our integrity too. There's that fine line. Yeah, it's nice to get paid, but I work another job besides this to make ends meet, because this does not pay that much.
Well, and I do want to hear somebody on YouTube that says, yeah, I make videos to not get clicked on at all. I don't want anybody to see it. Like, the point of YouTube is to get a click. It's to get the click, but you guys provide when you're there, and that's why people watch your stuff.
I'm not trying to sound mean to people who gripe or give us any kind of critiques in the comments. I do take constructive criticism to heart, especially from people that I know have been around for a while. But, there's people just like, I don't agree with you, and why are you guys so stupid and blah, blah, blah. It's like, then why are you listening to us?
What's funny is that it's free to listen to you.
Well,
right.
They don't have to pay to troll. They're paid to troll, though. That's what they do.
Yeah, well, and it's like, we have to pay to see like Captain Marvel and shit. This is free that we provide. It's like free content.
There's an echo chamber out there somewhere where a guy would love to have your click now who's only got 5 subscribers. Go find them if that's what you're looking for. Obviously, we're not it. We're not going to candy coat anything. And our audience that loves us knows that, and they know that they can agree to disagree with us, and we're not going to call anybody a jerk for liking something that they like, even stuff like Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, and also it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't share every of your opinions. As you have seen in the chat, there were many things. I'm not on the same road, but that doesn't matter. It goes to if you agree on the concept, how to make a story or how to create a movie. It goes to the basics. when you go to the basics, most of people you think they haven't the same opinion or something like that. They agree on that, on a good story, on good storytelling. Like Robert Burnett, I think he's one of the guys who puts it best when he describes the flaws in STD. He describes it better than anybody else, because he doesn't go just after the law of Star Trek or after the canon or something like that. He also goes after the storytelling in itself. And also Gary from Nerdrotic. This is the thing that doesn't make sense, and this is the core. This is the basis where everybody who knows anything about movies can agree on. If the storytelling is shit, the product doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars or Doctor Who or whatever. These are the basics of storytelling.
True. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah. So here, let's move on to a topic with this though. So instead of just talking about this now, we talked pretty good about that. I'll probably close the stream out in a good like 15 or so minutes, 20 minutes ish. If you guys are good to stick around for that, you guys good still?
Stuff to do, yeah. So yeah, well, I'll stick around here till the end, yeah.
Okay, Mecca, are you good for a good 15 or 20 minutes?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes sounds good.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So, like I said, I think we pretty much ran through quite a few topics. I don't know if you heard earlier, Mecca, like we're talking about films that I haven't seen because I haven't seen so many films, and I just watched Alien, and I wasn't the biggest fan, and but I watched like Kill Bill and Jaws, and I like those ones, and I'm knocking out classics. That's that's the idea.
Yeah, I wasn't the hugest fan of Alien either.
Yeah, I saw you on Jesse's stream last night. You're like, trying to be on the nice.
Trying to be nice. I don't want to insult the host, you know. I want to be extra careful not to like hurt her feelings because I know she loves it. So
yeah,
because I know I'm very blunt sometimes, and I accidentally do that. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be considerate. Like I don't want to say anything bad, but no, it's not my cup of tea of movie.
Yeah. So speaking of cup of tea of movies, though. So I mean, do we want to talk about our favorite films, or should we? Talk about, upcoming movies or what's happening with what do we think's going to happen with Avengers. I assume you guys have talked quite a bit about these topics.
No,
I'm trying to.
Rookie, don't let us beat a dead horse. Upcoming movies.
That's what I'm asking, because I don't know if they've talked about it enough.
SJW or this Avengers boring game or whatever. I don't give a fuck on this.
Okay, good.
More interesting than that.
All right. I mean, if you guys wanted to, we could, but I'm just saying. So favorite movies. Let's just do that. Something different. Something not everybody hears all the time. So Rob, what are some of your favorite movies? Yeah.
Well, back to school, obviously. Rodney Dangerfield.
I need to see that then because I haven't seen that at all.
That's a really good movie, actually.
Rookie, I want to ask Rob again. What's your favorite movie? Your favorite movie?
See, I have a list. That goes. That's maybe about 50 movies in no particular order, and those are my favorites. Okay, if there's one movie that if it's on, I have to drop everything and watch every single frame. It's A Hard Day's Night.
The Richard Lester movie?
Yes, the hard. Yes, I if it's on, I stop everything, and you will see me with the biggest smile on my face imaginable.
Oh my God! This was one of the first movies I've ever seen as a kid on TV.
Yes, they used to replay. They used to replay in the 70s constantly. In growing up in the 70s, but then they went away for a while because somebody bought the rights to them. But when I went to London in 2010, I went to Boston Place. Now, if you're familiar with London, Boston Place is next to the Marylebone Station. That's where they filmed the train sequence. I spent 20 minutes running up and down the street trying to recreate that scene in the intro to the movie. And somebody's.
Did the locals say, "Oh, you're just playing Beatles or something"?
The locals look at me like I was insane. but they knew why people were doing it, but it was
Yeah.
like he's crazy. Like,
But Rob, you are clear on the fact that this is a completely nostalgia choice.
oh yeah.
Completely, 100%.
Yes, my favorite scene is the theater scene. One of the theaters. Well, there's a couple of theater scenes, but you know, is that all set down there? Yeah, and they going, hey, leave them drums alone. I'm going to go on strike. And he's like, oh, he's sulking because he's sulking again. He's, I'll show him, and they go into If I Fell. Oh my God. Oh
yeah,
God, I love that scene.
This disqualifies you as a real movie critic. You are really one of us, a fan.
Yes. Well, you know what? Actually, that screenplay by Alan Owen was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah, but
and to which many people say there was a screenplay.
No, judging movies from the heart is not a bad thing. I have really respect before that, because it's really a movie. You can judge a movie about its qualities, filmmaking, and so on, but you can also judge it about what it means to you. And that's my channel is all about these movies. My rare views are just looking back in a rearview mirror. It's a kind of diary of my life. So I'm on the same page.
Yeah, there's another. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. Yeah, okay, fine. What he did, but I could separate the art from the artist. There's a couple of Woody Allen movies actually. Played Against Sam is one of my favorites.
Yeah, but the sleeper is the sleeper.
Yes, that's what I was getting to. Sleeper. Yes, there's that moment. There's that moment that he's in the car with Diane Keaton. He goes, "My name's Miles. He's Miles Monroe." He goes, "I'm a good person. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I would never force myself sexually on a blind person." You know, he just comes out. Oh God.
Woody is a one-man Monty Python show.
Yes, and Monty Python is
nobody gets that.
Yes,
nobody. Because Woody Allen is he's the kind of guy who can speak with himself and answer himself and make a whole crowd like he made in Selig.
Yes. But another thing though too is, if you notice Woody Allen movies, and notice Woody Allen and Monty Python and a lot of those and a lot of stuff, a lot of the gags are physical. I mean, a lot of
yes, they are, but they also aren't.
Yes, but I mean, but here's the thing, though. There's so many, even like the Edgar Wright movies, like Shaun of the Dead. I love Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, those are great.
One of the things that has escaped people who are directing comedies these days is they don't script anything out. What they will do, because every single moment of Monty Python and the Holy Grail was scripted. Same thing with Life of Brian, and you know,
no improv.
No improv. And now for something completely different, it's just a collection of their greatest sketches. But they refilmed them. But anyway, but I digress. But you have so many directors now, like Paul Feig, like Judd Apatow. They just set up cameras, they let the actors improv, and then they hope to film something funny, which they seldom do.
Yeah, Bob, I'm not astonished that you that you use the term director so loosely on
heads
like Paul Feig and this other guy.
Well, it's a guy who supplies the cast pot, is what it really is.
No, for me, these are civilians and not directors or anything. I think they are still searching for a real job to earn honest money.
Yes.
Not these hack jobs they're doing. Because Paul Feig, a director, is really now you are stretching it.
Yeah,
you're really stretching it.
And one of the other, I'll wrap this by saying one of the other great thrills I had was actually seeing Casablanca in a movie theater. About 20 odd years ago. There was
but did you see it in his real version, like in Gremlins 2? Now in color and with a happy ending.
No, I did not I did not see. I did not see the Dukes Phillips.
Tonight
Duke
on
Phillips
Clamp Cable Network.
No, you don't have cable. Yeah, as I said, Tom, Clamp Cable Network. So you can't see it in the new version.
So okay, so I will pass the baton.
Joke, Rob.
Yes. Hey man,
a good segue if you're going to segue to me, because Gremlins is probably one of my all-time favorites, which is obvious. Of course, I love stuff like The Karate Kid, Back to the Future, Jaws, the Star Wars films.
Yeah, but you have to put a number on it. Gremlins 1 or Gremlins 2?
Both. The second film has so many great shit, so much great shit going for it. And it's not a direct sequel in a sense that it doesn't take the first film seriously and goes in a completely different direction, and I love it for it.
Yes, because I agree on that 100%. Gremlins 2 is the much better movie.
I haven't seen either of them yet either. Another one that I haven't seen.
Those are two that I can totally understand and respect people who say Gremlins 2 is the better movie. To me, it's like Godfather and Godfather 2 and Alien and Aliens. I can't pick a favorite some days. Karate Kid and Karate Kid 2, even though you didn't like Karate Kid 2.
Karate Kid 2 was good.
I know. To me, it's just a natural extension. The third film, part of the problem was it took them an extra year or two, I think, to get it out compared to how they had the first two.
But I would you compare Gremlins to Godfather 2 or something like that, and that's really a hard choice. Why to ask somebody is which movie is better, Godfather 1 or 2?
I know, isn't it? And I'm the same way.
It's impossible because Godfather 1 and 2 are both. The script is both made from Mario Puzo himself, from the writer of the original novel. I know the novel, and Godfather 1 and 2 are the novel. They are kind of the novel. So it's really hard.
That's true.
Which one is better? And but Gremlins 1 and 2, I would more compare them to Evil Dead 1 and 2. Or something like that. Because Gremlins 2 elevated the franchise. It made something nobody saw back then in these small little Gremlins things, and these are a kind of horror thing. And you even pointed it out when you spoke about Gremlins in one of your streams. You said, yes, the original script for Gremlins, there was something completely different. This should be a real horror story or something like that. And
the original script was, for the first film.
Yeah, and to elevate that in Gremlins 2 is for me a kind of masterpiece, and it's for me one of the most underrated movies ever. Gremlins 2 was for me, and I had back then the luck to see it in cinemas. And I saw both versions. I saw Gremlins in cinemas with the cut, in the cinema cut with not Hulk Hogan, with Hulk Hogan. And I saw also the video version with John Wayne. And many people aren't aware of this fact. It's really fun.
Yeah. Not until the DVD came out did a lot of people see the Hulk Hogan version again, other than the TV version. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, they really thought what they did when they make it back then, because the cut in the cinema was really a kind of melting cut from the film rolls they used back then, because the movies back then they pretended that they are still on these kind of rolls, and it was this kind of cut, and on video it was really more of a melting of the band of the videotape.
Yeah, they changed it on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, they really thought about what they did back then, and to see that nowadays when you see sloppy things like Last Jedi or something like, or crap like that, where they don't put any thought, or STD or Doctor Who or whatever, they don't give a crap on continuity or even if it makes sense, or even if it's logical, or even it baffles me every time when I see that. And back then they put so much effort in it, and nobody recognized it. Nobody.
So yeah, Mecca, what's your favorite movies?
Oh, well, shit. Lost Boys is probably my favorite of all time. I know it's not the greatest movie, but it's a fun movie. You know, I don't really see any really bad like technical imperfections in that either. I mean, God, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4 have to be up there.
Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies too. Yeah, Ninja Turtles. You mentioned, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Nightmare on Elm Street meets Ninja Turtles.
I won't to cry, little sister. No, don't worry about that. I like
I love it. I love that song. God,
what if they did a midnight? Was it Elm Street meets the Ninja Turtles? That would be a movie.
That'd be interesting.
I think Freddy with the Lost Boys would be a cool mashup.
It's like keep the tone of the Turtles as mixed with the tone of Elm Street. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool. Oh, I also love like Spaceballs and the Goonies and Rent of the Nerds and Police Academy.
I actually have seen these ones. Yes, ones I have seen. Yes.
I love the Police Academy. Probably up to about 5 even.
I like the Police Academy ones too. Yeah.
Did you guys hear? They wanted to remake them, and I'm like, how could you do that? They're just what they are with when they were. You can't just.
Police Academy, I could see if you get the right group of comedians together.
But I mean, like, why wouldn't you call it something else if you're going to make like a modern comedy?
I would rather be in the same universe.
Yeah, I would make it a sequel. I wouldn't make it I would make it a bunch of new recruits. I would put like Steve Guttenberg in like the
Mahoney as commandant. You know,
is anybody alive that was in that back then?
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Most of them.
Hightower's dead.
David Graff's dead.
We're living now in a kind of police state. Is it really a good thing to put something out like Police Academy that people?
Yes, yes, it is.
It's your friend because it isn't anymore. Here in Germany, the police has now rights. They can arrest people without any reason for 3 months and so on. So a kind of Police Academy is a kind of spit in the face of the people.
I can see where you're coming from on your end, but over here,
yeah.
The problem is they wouldn't make it because it's just so un-PC.
Yeah.
Don't move.
You have the Patriot Act there or not? You have the Patriot Act in USA or not?
Well, yeah, the Patriot
Act.
Act.
But I think it's done now. Yeah.
Yeah, the Patriot Act, I believe, is expired. Yeah, but we're facing something about, like I said, the whole I don't want to say the culture war in America. I mean, the whole you can't do this, you can't do that, this is inappropriate, you know, you need X, Y, and need to do say X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of things that work against making it. I don't think it would get to the point where past the pitch stage, you know.
I think it would wind up like Revenge of the Nerds remake did, because I don't know if anybody remembers they were even casting that through Comic-Con one year. Like they were trying to find real nerds to play nerds in a new Revenge of the Nerds movie. I'm like, you can't do Revenge of the Nerds now for various reasons. One,
nerds are the popular kids.
I was gonna say that's my next point. Is first of all, you know, there's just no way the PC police would let you. Secondly, the nerds are popular now. That's what kind of makes Spider-Man kind of twist on its head, and that's why I don't have the issues with Homecoming a lot of people do. Is because Peter Parker's a nerd. He wouldn't be an outcast.
Yeah,
he would be the cool kid in class because it's cool to be a nerd now. It's not uncool to be a nerd. The smartest kid in class is generally considered, you know, the alpha now in a lot of ways. At least here.
First off, there aren't any nerds anymore. I'm pretty sure
that's true.
Everybody who says he's a nerd, he lies.
When everyone's a nerd, no one is.
No one is. Really, no one is a nerd. So what's a nerd? How can you say somebody is a nerd? I don't understand, because I think I would go as a nerd because I spent my whole life with movies and so on, and like this Burnett guy, I dedicated a whole chunk of my life for this. But I'm not considered as a nerd. I'm completely opposite.
Now it's okay. Now it's cool. People understand and respect that. You know, it never used to be. It's like, oh, you know the entire Star Wars trilogy word for word. You're a fucking nerd. No, nowadays it's like, whoa, that's cool.
And now come on, ladies, come on.
Respect, gets respect out of that in some circles. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rick? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, come on, ladies, come on. I know Star Wars. Yeah. Just pick up lines. No, pretty bad. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but
so
now nobody says he knows Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that.
That's different. That's a little bit.
It's Well, you say it now, and it's not a deal breaker, is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like with something like Revenge of the Nerds, just characters alone like Booger and Takashi you would not get them past.
No.
Yeah, I was about to say though. One of my other favorites is Goldfinger. I love Goldfinger. That is the classic Bond archetype.
Are those available on streaming?
What'd you say?
Are those available on streaming right now?
I don't know.
Has really everything that makes James Bond Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Even the German bad villain.
Kurt Frobe actually had a very heavy accent. They had to redub his dialogue in ADR afterwards.
Yeah, they normally have to redub him here in Germany too, but they don't because they have too much respect for him.
I have yet to see any James Bond film.
And I'm not a big Bond fan, so I can relate.
Yeah, I had to help Tom with all the Bond stuff, all the Bond stuff. So
I do plan on at some point doing a huge month of James Bond to catch up on. That's what I was saying. Is it on streaming anywhere?
I've asked some box sets a few times, but I don't know if it's on streaming.
Is it on Netflix? I think it might be on Netflix.
There might be a few, but I think they're really good at not letting all of them out at once. They're really good at that. It's really difficult to get a hold of all of them at once because Sony and MGM, I think, joint own.
Esquire says nearly all James Bond movies now on Netflix.
Oh, there you go.
How many films are there for it? 10? 15?
Oh shit, 20.
Just 25. There's 24.
And speaking of Bond, there is some Bond news. Did you see that, Rob, that I told you? According to Mr. Robert, to bring it back around to him again, according to him, we're not only going to get a title for Bond 25 tomorrow, we're going to get some casting news. So
sweet.
Yeah, and, Rookie, if you want to make something about Bond, there are also some unofficial Bonds, but I can tell you everything about that because, of course, I know the whole Bond thing. I saw a few of them in the cinema back then, and one of my first movies in cinemas was a Bond movie. It was Live and Let Die. So I was so surprised when I saw Sean Connery as Bond in TV because I thought that was Bond.
They did Bond TV show too.
Huh?
No.
Okay, never mind.
When he saw film on TVs, I think he's saying.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, see, before there was this thing called Video Rookie Critic, we had to wait for TV to see a movie again.
I'm a mid-90s kid. I get that.
I get it.
I was right in the time before kids got really dumb. Right in that area.
We were just talking about this the other day, I think, on After Dark, where we're just saying, movies like Ghostbusters and all that kind of stuff, they stuck around because of the video age, and we didn't have that before, the 70s, basically into mostly way into the mid-80s. I mean,
right. Which I can appreciate that too. That means they hold more value too to the viewers. Yeah. So it
makes no sense to make a remake of Ghostbusters. Sure, on paper it may, but not to the millions upon millions upon millions of fans of that original film that still watch it yearly or in some cases monthly or daily. In some people's, that movie is not just loved, it's beloved. And if that word is attached to a movie, you should not touch it with a 10-foot fucking pole. What you can do though is Cobra Kai it. If it's able to be progressed on from the original story, or you're able to take a different view on it and still not degrade the characters in any way, like Cobra Kai has managed to do over 2 seasons now, that's the way you can do it. And there's very few franchises that have been able to accomplish that to this day. Star Wars had the fucking chance and they blew it.
Agreed. Big time. But on that note, I think let's start closing out now. It's been a good 2.5 hours.
Review to do actually. So
yeah, I figured. I know you guys are on tight on schedule, and Mecca was in the middle of doing her videos too and whatnot. And it's been like a 2.5 hour stream, so I think that's pretty good time on that.
Yeah,
so
got a Jaloja.
Yeah. So to start wrapping us out, Mecca, if you want to plug anything or you want to say something, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Oh yeah, well, I first have to apologize on Twitter. I'm noticing I think I might have upset some people when I was like super depressed this afternoon and I was exhausted and miserable, and I tweeted out, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I wouldn't even see Endgame, because I had like one little spoiler and I was just moody and upset and I super overreacted. And
Andre loved it.
Okay, I didn't even want to hear his review yet.
Spoiler to me that I'll give to you after we're off the air here.
I don't want it. I want to go in as blind as possible.
Spoiler. It's a good.
I don't want to hear it either.
I don't want to hear it either.
Question everybody's been asking.
No, I don't want to know it. I don't want to know it. I really don't. But like, it's like, so I was like super depressed that I put a little retraction. I was like, no, I'm just like, I got that one spoiler and I was super depressed and I had like no sleep. So that's what I want to say. And also sub to me on YouTube. And I do more than just Brie Larson videos. If anybody would watch them ever, please, please.
Yeah, I was about to say too, I've noticed on your streams when you talk about certain topics, you'll have like 30 viewers compared to like 100 viewers sometimes. You'll have different review count on what you're talking about. And it's like, if more people went to those ones, the smaller ones, then maybe people would know that that's what you also do. But they don't. So.
I'll just put it this way, since this is an Andre's spoiler-free review. In his eyes, if there was two different cuts of the movie, the Russos went with the less heavy Captain Marvel version. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
That's acceptable.
Good news.
Yep. So, and then Rob, anything you want to close out with? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, well, like I said, I got my own channel, Robot Shlomo. You can find me at Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it.
All right, moving on. Tom.
Shlomo Vision. I was trying to make Rob plug his Shlomo.
Shlomo Vision's not ready.
Well, how about you guys?
Ready for Shlomo Vision?
How about you guys plug each other? Tom, you plug Rob.
No. Let's not do that. No.
We need more plugs.
That's a totally different podcast there, Rookie
Totally
Critic.
different plug.
Okay.
Hello, Frisco.
No.
All right. That's all good.
Yeah, just check us out on Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. I feel like kind of like we should be plugging our channel. We should be plugging your channel. We're telling everybody go to send Mecca to Vegas. There we go.
I'm to Vegas for the Star Trek convention.
How are we doing with that Mecca? Yeah.
I haven't even had I have had no time. I have been so. Where's my GoFundMe? I don't know if it's any. Let's see.
Wow.
1,170. Holy shit! Somebody 50 anonymous 7 hours ago. Well, thank you, anonymous.
Let's get Mecca to Vegas.
How much more do you need to meet your goal?
About 800, a little more than 800.
I can get you $5.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How long till your trip?
Late July, early August.
Probably get that by then.
And if anybody's heading out to the Star Trek convention, I think Anna is supposed to try and get out there if she can. Gary from Nerdrotic's going to try and. I think he's going to be there. I think he has like a meetup place. Yeah, there's a lot of people on YouTube. Jesse Miller's going to be there. Pete, Creepy Little Book. A lot of people are going to go. So, cool. Anybody else wants to join us? Come say hi at the Star Trek convention.
I need to watch Star Trek first.
I've only
seen the Christopher Lloyd one, whatever one he's in. Christopher Lloyd. I've only seen that one.
No tricks, Kirk. No tricks.
Yep.
Captain Kirk, you don't want to give me the Genesis device? Hooky dog.
My mom was watching it, and I walked in, and I'm like, I know that voice. What the hell is that? And it was like, so I was watching for a little bit, curious to see if I can figure out who it was. Yeah.
To be honest, I think you drop it and break it.
All right.
Seem a little jittery there. Lay out the gun.
Yeah, Mecca, if you comment in the chat, I can make you a mod. You can just post your GoFundMe there. I doubt you'll get much traction from my end, but you'd be surprised. Who knows? Some people heavy donators.
Mecca, go fund Mecca.
For all you know, Ruka's got some cash. I have no idea.
There, I wrote you a theme song for it.
Right. Yep. And so, Cub, any last things you want to say? Go about, plug anything? I know you had a video out earlier today, I think.
Yes, I'm on a regular stream at Dawn and at Dawn's channel, and it's called At Dawn's Stream. We are on Sundays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think. And,
Okay.
Yeah, but Rookie, you know our stream. You were a visitor sometimes.
I know, yeah, you're at Dawn. So, the Lone Wolf Cub, Jez Oldfield, or Digital Pollution, as his other YouTube channel's name, and at Dawn will stream sometimes on the weekends, and they sometimes do watch parties, or they'll talk about certain movies. You can hear Cub's classic critical takes on things, where he says the F word 50 times and crap 60 times about some of your favorite movies. Maybe, who knows?
And it would be really cool or great if somebody from you could show up sometimes and could join us in our stream. I have to ask you that, Tom, Rob, and Mecca.
Sure, just reach out to me on YouTube or not YouTube,
Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter, yeah, and we can make it happen.
Yeah. All it takes is
every Sunday. We are every Sunday on air. As I said, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. I think, and because it's from Canada.
And Cub's German time. So I give him credit for trying to get our time over here. Or 4 different time zones in America.
Yes,
makes sense.
And the second thing is for Tom. I sent you the Conan, the Barbarian review I made on Twitter, and if it's possible, I would die to hear what Andre thinks of it, because he made also one, and his one is so great. And I'm just curious what he thinks about my one.
I'll see what I can do. You can also tag him in it too, possibly, and that should be able to get his attention potentially too, because he's a big Conan fan. So
yeah, I know. As I said, I know his one. His take on Conan is genius and brilliant, but he goes more from the comic book side, and I go more from the movie side. And so it could be maybe interesting for him also to watch the other perspective.
Well, I'll make sure he gets that, though. Otherwise, I definitely will do that.
All right, sounds good. So on that note, I'm going to close it out. Mecca's link to her GoFundMe is in the chat. Go send her to the Star Trek convention. Hell yeah, that is in July. So you got quite a bit to save up, a few bucks at a time. Works out, and makes it fun for the Star Trek community. I'm hoping. I can't speak for the Star Trek community because I'm not in it, but
Oh, Alex Christman will see me and he'll be like, "No, not that harpy,
not the harpy." Yeah. So on that note, I'm closing out. Yep.
See, that's why I should go. He doesn't know what I look like.
Sure. Yeah. Just wear a Doomcock mask, and then
your boy can tackle your ass.
Yeah, lots of luck with that, pal.
So thanks for watching. Princess Aruka, Tito George, Ancient One, Daddy Pants, and some other people were in here earlier, like Miss and Mary Mayhem and Black Angus, J&J Comedy, Joe, the Adrenal, Random Nerd of Doom. I'll see you guys later.